It's hard to feel myself, but you're miles away. I've been wondering why you cannot stay. Till the sky's blue when they're always gray. Trying to sweep myself back.
Welcome back to NA Shift Summer League. We've got a new face on the screen. Jorby joining us tonight. Corelli's ISP has continued the sabotage, so he will be subbing out. Right. And Mr. Jorby Please is here with us. Jorby, how are you feeling this evening?
I am feeling great. High resolution, high polygon count. You know, I was made in Unreal Engine 5. Ooh. And, you know, I'm out here and I'm ready to give you the high fidelity experience that, you know, y'all didn't know you were going to get.
Wow. I didn't expect the UE5 reference today. So that's going to feed Lethamir's algorithm for the next month. I'm glad that you were able to pay that man's rent with the UE5 shout out. Hi, everybody. We got Jorby. Look at us. We kicked Corelli out because his ISP is awful and we miss him. But we said, what better way to substitute our PS1 than with a PS5 upgrade? And it's Jorbellion. I'm glad that he's here. Look at him. He looks so good.
Very nice. You guys look great. My first time officially working with you, Hootie Hoo. I'm not lurking in your chat anymore, but I do still enjoy doing that. But now I get to chat with you next to you. That's better than Twitch chat. Absolutely.
Right here in the flesh, like you said, high definition as well. It's 2024, folks. Leave the PS1 in the past. Well, as we get started, let's take a brief look at the format. We want to remind everybody, if you're just tuning in, this is League Play. Double round robin. That means every team will play one another 2 times. Every team plays 3 matches each game day. We're rocking these on Tuesdays and Wednesdays for 3 weeks. That's a total of 18 series. Top 6 will make the regional playoff. That is a double elim bracket where top 4 get placed in the upper side. 5 and 6 will get 1 life in the lower side of the bracket. Gentlemen, we got day number 1 under our belt. We had maybe some upsets, some unexpected results, but of course, the inevitable G2 on top as always. Spaceman, any thoughts after day 1?
It's pretty simple. Not too surprising to see G2 at 3-0. I think the run, just the start, the early tournament format for Reddles usually doesn't pan out. So the fact that his team is 2-1 is very happy. I'm happy about that. I'm glad for the kids. Did look really good. SSG, of course, going to game 5 against OG. A bit of a nail biter. I think a series that will pay off for them down the road. Maybe not so much right now. So top 4 looking really strong. But the biggest takeaway has been Gen.G. I mean, that's just the story.
I mean, also think about like no 0-3s. Incorrect also forced, I believe, 2 game 5s. Like they have a 5-9 game record despite being number 10 with a 1-2 spot. Like a 5-9 is pretty decent for the very bottom of the league. And watching some of Incorrect's games yesterday, I really think that they're going to be an upset potential team for anyone that plays them. Flitz is looking really, really good and fun. Also, if they figure out their defense, they could end up playing spoiler. Like that's the fun thing is just week 1 we get the first 6 matches out of the way, and that'll set the initial field. And I already see some teams like trying to play spoiler a little bit on our top teams.
I'm excited to see what Incorrect chooses to do because they've got 4 players that they're running with, and I don't think it was by design, but I think Toasty was unavailable for the qualifier, and then Expert was unavailable for day 1, and I'm not sure exactly who they're going to throw out there here, but as you said, not a bad record despite being 1-2. Well, let's take a look at the pricing. What can these players earn by performing well throughout Shift Summer League? We've got a $9,000 prize for first place. Second place is going to be taking home $5,000. Third, $2,500. Fourth place, 1,500. Fifth and sixth will both take home 1,000 each. That's going to be all of your playoff teams fighting for some a pretty penny.
Yeah, not too bad. Listen, you make it to top 6, you get paid. If you're bottom 4 team to get relegated out, sorry, thanks for playing. We appreciate you being involved in this tournament. But I mean, it's pretty standard. And I like the fact that not only are we putting up a decent prize pool for first place and we're splitting it up pretty evenly across the board, but we're keeping the competition high, man. Like we're old heads. We remember back in the day where top 4 got paid and it was like 32 team bracket. And it's like, oh, well, if you showed up, your best luck was to try to pay off part of the motel room. This is like, hey, we're going back to basics here. You show up to this tournament, you have a chance of getting knocked out, and it's good old fashioned double round robin, top 4 move on. But look, you make it to playoff bracket, $1,000 just for showing up. I like that. I like where we're going with this.
That's right. That's right.
Well, look, we've got standings out of the way, format, pricing. We know what's going on with the league here. Let's take a look at our first match of the day. We are going to see Incorrect, who we just talked about, and
right.
Gen.G. We have got, I mean, look, we just got to say it how it is. Gen.G has got to begin the regain today. I saw Coach Chrome. He was on Twitter, and he talked about how they had kind of gotten a late start. I think Jack maybe went back home for a little bit, spent some time there, and now they are back in action. So a slow start. Maybe we can kind of look past it, but I think today they have got to get things rolling early.
Yeah, man. Look, for Gen.G, the conversation does need to be around just the consistency of this team's floor, which I think has been pretty inconsistent. And it's no shade on the individual players. It's more of let's look at what they've done. Been a consistent threat against G2 and NA. G2 started to separate, but this is a team that's won regionals in the region. They're a team that is maybe the second best in North America to contend against G2, and they've come out just flatter than a flat tire. Like they have just absolutely not shown up yesterday. And it was great to see Chrome take accountability. And like, I expect that from he there's no doubt about his coaching capabilities, but we got to expect more from Gen.G. And I know this is a show match and this is not technically Worlds,
right?
But this matters and they need to do better.
And Jorby, do you think that's something that's maybe kind of like I know when I was younger and I played different, sports, baseball, whatever, we were so guilty of playing to the level of our competition. If it's somebody that we have a lot of respect for and we think maybe actually they're probably better than us, we kind of play a little bit better than maybe we normally would. But then sometimes we let off the gas if we know, hey, we should be beating this team. This is not going to be a problem. Do you think it's something that along those lines?
I think it's kind of a natural consequence of playing in non-RLCS events. Your top teams, I think there's a natural mentality kind of dip that your top teams go in. Whereas, a team like Incorrect, they aren't making it to majors or anything like that. This is one of the best chances they have to prove themselves, get really solid practice in as a team. So you're seeing these lower teams play a little bit better than expected. But I think that's part of the formula. That's part of just how things work as a top team. You're not as locked in as you usually are. Now, of course, unless your name is G2, that stands for almost every team. I mean, Space Station didn't look great yesterday. We keep talking about Gen.G, but Space Station almost lost to Incorrect in 5 games. So, for Gen.G, I do think that it just comes down to, for me, I just feel like most of the time when they aren't winning, it's just because Chronic isn't finishing shots. If Chronic can finish his shots, this team almost never loses. So as long as that's going well, and I didn't get a chance to really dial in on Gen.G's game specifically yesterday, but I thought Abjack had looked pretty good at times. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but they should be beaten Incorrect 99 times out of 100 here.
Sure. I mean, they've got the setup for the regain, and we've touched on it a few times, but this is league play. It's not a tournament. They are not down 2 games in the Swiss stage and have to reverse sweep it, right? They've got a lot of matches to play. They're going to get those. They're going to get a chance to go back at those teams that they lost yesterday in that second round as we go through double round robin. So that's one of the things that we wanted to show or showcase. I think Shift has done an awesome job organizing this thing. I love this format. I love how much action is going on, and I think this league play is just kind of giving everybody that is maybe newer to RL esports, 2020 and forwards, a chance to see what it used to be like for these top level teams. Well, let's do this. We've got a few more moments before we get started. Do we think that Incorrect has it in him to take down Gen.G? Spaceman, what are you thinking?
Oh, go ahead, Space.
I'm curious what Jorby was about to say, because my takes can be a little weird, but Jorby.
Oh, okay.
Jorby, where are you coming from? Because I'm going to bounce off you. What are you thinking?
Oh, well, I was just saying that it looks like Toasty is going to be playing for Incorrect. He's in the pregame lobby right now, so no expert today, but Every time I looked over at Incorrect playing, when they were playing well, Toasty was getting a lot of balls from Flitz. Flitz looked really good yesterday. Flitz continues to look really good. And, I'm feeling a little cheeky. I think Gen.G are like, week 1, Shift Summer League, whatever. Incorrect could play spoiler here, but I think Gen.G have it in 5.
Okay, 5. All right.
Yeah, I think it's more of, if you're going to catch Gen.G, I think week 1's the week to do it. We say that about a lot of top teams. Like, you catch them early and then you try to adjust later. But the one weakness that Gen.G has consistently had, outside of Jorby's point about Chronic kind of getting him to execute a little bit more, is when they get pressured and they're not getting boost to escape defensively, they can get bullied into their own net very quickly. Most notably, we saw it last year in the World Championship. We've seen it this year, where we put so much emphasis on First Killer to be that superstar player because he needs to be the one to break this team out of a grind of a dry spell scoring wise. So I think if you're Incorrect, if you can really prioritize the corner play, if you can prioritize winning rebounds on the Gen.G side of the field, if you can get Gen.G low on boost defensively, they have a very good chance of getting in the head of Gen.G, because once Gen.G feels like they can't break out defensively, they kind of shut down. They've done this against pro teams that have done this in the highest competition. It's just something that's in their nature. Sometimes they shut down, and I feel like they overthink the game, and they're not able to kind of kickstart the engine again. So if I'm Incorrect, I'm coming in guns blazing, full sending it towards their net all times, really challenging on everything defensively. And if they do that, I think they could very easily win this series. But we're also asking Gen.G to 6, 7, 8 months into the season, continue playing some of their worst Rocket League. That's a tall order.
Yeah,
I don't think we can ask them to do that.
Well, Incorrect, a couple of game 5s yesterday. They got a tough task today. Can Gen.G regain? Fellas, let's take it to the pitch, see what's up.
Let's take it to the pitch. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hootie Hoo. Incorrect versus Gen.G. We pretty much set it all up in Spaceman yesterday when I was in the egg stands with everybody else. I was listening to the Gen.G stream with Illusion. Illusion was giving his commentary over what was going on with Gen.G, and a repeated commentary that was coming up with this team was sometimes they just try to force things that aren't working. Sure. And want to play their way, want to play their game, but he kept saying he wanted to see his team just try to not own goal. Now they didn't. that would be on Incorrect here. But hey, what a start here for Chronic.
This is such a stupid goal. Chronic kind of just throws it north to the net, and everybody else helps out. So Jorby, you wanted to see Chronic, kind of execute. All right. That's already how we're getting things going. But you do bring up a good point again, and shout out to Illusion once more. This is a team that they do like to overcomplicate at times. And that's really why I think the pickup of First Killer to start the season was so impressive and was really needed. We're like, all right, you get yourself a player like a beast mode who doesn't have to overcomplicate. You can kind of take the ball from the sidewall, from the ceiling, from the midfield, and go nuts, break open the offense. That's what we want to see from Gen.G. I hope they show it here today. Did not have a good showing yesterday, but against Incorrect, a more formidable opponent they should be able to handle.
And just to complete what Illusion was saying as well, is look, if they're playing aggressive against you, just let them play the 50 back. Try to get the 50s to teammates. Don't worry about always trying to push the ball, driving the ball forward, trying to out-mechanic the other team, overpassing. Sometimes simpler is better. Incorrect. A couple times yesterday in almost every series that they played, they went down early and then had to fight back in multiple series to get back to game 5. First Killer almost hitting a double tap here with the demo through the smoke. Chronic picks up 2 goals for Gen.G.
Yeah, that backboard's going to be a problem. If you're not able to isolate First Killer or at least get up for the challenge, Wanda might try, just not the spacing that he maybe would have liked on the initial jump. That's okay. Still going to be a threat regardless. We talk about it offensively for Incorrect. They're going to have to keep the pace up on the defensive side of the ball for Gen.G. Same thing on the opposite end. When it comes to the backboard clears, they have to be present and always cognizant of where First Killer's out on the field. But when we look at Incorrect overall, this is a team that moved through the open qualifiers to qualify for this event. They're taking out really solid competition in Cloud9, NRG, Peeps, who again was AJ Mist and Gyro. So it's not like they walked their way here. They had to fight against some really, really solid teams. So they clearly know what they're doing. Just comes down to, again, executing against maybe a team step above you. So far, answering the call defensively, but down 2 goals. Like to see their offense start to spread out a little bit more.
Those are teams they've routinely struggled against in open qualifiers in RLCS as well. But they're currently struggling against one of the best teams in North America. They simply cannot get a handle on the ball. No boost for Toasty. He side flipped off the ball. Wanda Mike, I believe, called him off there. I think that was intentional from Toasty because Wanda Mike had a better angle. but Chronic was already on the ball. So the call off, while I understand Wonder Mike going for that, I think Toasty might have been able to pop that up and away from him. It still would have been a delicate situation. They didn't have a lot of boosts. It's pouring right now here for Gen.G. Close.
Oh, these are just warm-up shots for Chronic and the likes of First Killer. They're going to take that all day, every day as the series goes on. Likely they will start to hit more of those angles, but always nice to see Wonder Mike and Toasty back in the swing of things and more of an RLCS style tournament. But again, for this team, really slowing down the offense of Gen.G is the #1 priority. It sounds very simple, but the dimensions of Gen.G's offense become more apparent. The more shots they take, the more opportunities they're given, the more they score, the more ways they find to beat you. So for Incorrect, a lot of this comes down to just holding possession, right? They've been bullied on the back line. They've had trouble clearing the ball downfield. One of the first times we start to see a counterattack really form. Try to keep the offense up, focus on the boost management, and start getting a little physical, bumping players off the play. That's what they need to start doing in game 1.
And Wonder Mike, he had pulled out wide to go get a corner boost. It wasn't there. Ball was still contested in the midfield. By the time he gets the other corner boost, Chronic has possession and he has to play hurry up. And we're unable to get the midfield grab there. I mean, even there, Incorrect feeling like they got to hop the route quick. Their second man follows up quickly, but that does mean you have less resources on the back end. Apparently, Jack, not a powerful redirect and off target as well.
Yeah, a little too indecisive for my liking on the challenge. And then when they get countered, there's only one back. Flip's going to get bumped. I mean, this is just clear cut all day, every day going to be a shot, if not a goal. Wonder Mike beat around the 50. Apparently, Jack wins another. Like you said, Jorby has the boost to make this viable. Comes in for the follow-up, uses his flip to get the bump on the goal line. It's that indecisiveness at the midfield that is tough when you're rotating with a team, but when you're having to play catch-up on your own backline to get back into the play and you're a man down, you're going to get burned every time. It's 4-0. Gen.G kind of walking through game 1. Oh, my God.
Oh,
how is that not safe?
Why is Chronic at the driving range? And I guess Incorrect are just giving them all their golf balls here. But Toasty unable to get to the ball. Toasty has 74 points, dude. That is not going to get it done.
Unfortunately for them, they just haven't had much to work with, and that, of course, is credit to Gen.G's offense. Everything I said about what Incorrect need to do, Gen.G have done. Granted, game's not over. A bit of time to work with. Will be a tough mountain to climb, but
game's not over?
Kickoff. It's a
it's
solid
not
kickoff
over?
for me. No, it's not.
What happened? What happened to... Was that First Killer who just missed the ball on the kickoff?
It's okay. They got a 4-goal lead.
Why was he on the side of the ball like that? Doesn't matter. I'm not. Don't worry, First Killer. I'm not reading too far into it, dude. It's okay. Hey, Flitz, you got something? He does not, but it looks like he might. Not enough boost. Apparently, Jack challenged on the back. He's not worried about it. 5-1. This is how Gen.G wanted to start. Strong. You don't give up any nonsense gimme goals. You're not lazily rotating wide on the midfield with nobody covering the net. A very solid, clean game from Gen.G, which is all you can really ask for. Sans one First Killer in garbage time, and yes, garbage time at 140 when you're up 5-0.
Yeah, it's garbage time.
Unless Flitz missed it by a pixel, but I think that pixel probably doesn't put it on target. Very solid start here for Gen.G, though.
Yeah, this Gen.G offense, the one we're seeing right now, the one that fans have come to love and routinely expect, this is the offense that works when they have a lead to kind of get creative with, right? It's just oftentimes we're waiting for Gen.G's offense to look like this when they're either down a goal or two or they're tied and really struggling to find that rhythm at the midfield. So this is totally fine. They look comfortable. They're trying new things out. Chronic and First Killer went for a pinch. Blitz going to just try to extend this as long as possible, but doesn't really matter. This is all formalities. Quality save from Wonder Mike. 19 to go. 5-1. A really strong showing in game 1 from Gen.G.
I mean, look, Chronic has 4 goals. First Killer has 3 assists. That makeup right there is when almost every Gen.G win, I feel like, has a plethora of First Killer assists, and Chronic is scoring the goals. When he's scoring, Gen.G are winning, and game 1 was easy for them. Game number 2, we'll see if Incorrect can right the ship.
You know, if we do have to sift through some of this game 1, it was a bit of a wash, but that's credit to Gen.G. However, we can talk about the challenge game from Incorrect and how much space that gave Gen.G to operate. I mean, we can look at it from the kickoffs. We could look at it from one of the waning drives at the end of this game. Apparently, Jack threw the ball off the side wall. I believe Flitz grabbed the midfield boost. went up on the sidewall to meet the challenge and just watched it fly by. You even look back prior to, I believe, the third goal that was led because of that indecisive challenge at the midfield, incorrect, giving Gen.G a lot of space. These are the small things that even for a younger team playing a team that's, clearly a couple of steps above them, their challenges matter not just for being on ball, but for also taking away what space the offense on the other side has to work with. And that's just something Incorrect couldn't do. So going into game 2, I would really like to see them focus. Yes, their aggression needs to be a little bit better, but really focus on clearly there needs to be a physical representation of the communication they have in comms to what we're seeing on screen. Too many times, Jory, where it felt like they're just not on the same page of when they want to challenge or where they want to go in space. And because of that, Gen.G's like, dude, we're just going to start ripping shots. And it worked.
Yeah, they really didn't have to try too hard on that. Incorrect were giving them a lot of space themselves. It does surprise me at the start today because Incorrect did get a lot of reps in with Toasty yesterday, but where we see a lot of the tie-ups were between Flitz and Wondamike. And they got to figure each other out here if they're feeling some sort of discomfort. Like you said, you got to talk it out. You can't stay silent on it. And you start off nice with the kickoff win. Wondamike gets it on the cheat up, pops it with the left side with a flick.
There's the young one stepping up. Look at Wondamike go. Able to skirt through 2 in a 1v1 situation. Not going to miss it. Nicely done off the kickoff, establishing some nice rhythm to start game 2. And look, what a better way to get things going than to open up with a goal. You down 5-0, 5-1 to end game 1. It looks pretty dire. Come right back out of the gates. Nice shot, nice goal. Nicely done.
Wondamike having to avoid a bump that put him in an awkward angle and forced to clear it out to the midfield line, where apparently Jack just drills it back to the top of the box. See what it does. Wondamike first on the ball,
man.
had to clear it, and a huge gap. And I honestly didn't think there was a gap at first, but Wondamike, no boost. He clears it out. Flitz runs out. Toasty's still rotating out. First Killer tried to bump him, actually forced Toasty to wrap around, and I think that is the only thing that took him out of position.
Yeah, they ran into each other. A little love tap. Sometimes you got to high five your teammate. It's like when you're playing Little League and you stop running the bases to go high five your friend on the other team. That's what happened, but it was on your team, so it doesn't
that
work
happened
out.
to me once in
Dude, it was so fun doing it. It was so great. So they told us that you can't do that and then ruin the fun. But listen, don't run into your teammates. Rotating, again, in space, especially when it comes to pathing back defensively, going to be a priority. But the good thing right now for Incorrect is they start off with a goal. You can afford a mistake here or there. Now, how do they keep the pressure at the midfield as their second man works through space? Decent pass over the Flitz. Got to keep the pressure moving.
Wondamike at full speed. Didn't want to take the 50. Or just thought that ball was going to be played up. Either way, tried to move at max speed. Gen.G are happy for it. Let you drive at max speed at the ball, and they'll just win the touch. First Killer was only playing Flitz's touch there. And slows down 1. A good bump on Chronic, but apparently Jack already saw it coming. Puts another shot up. And Wondamike maybe can finally pressure Chronic. He does. Dropped it back to Toasty. Chronic falls back down onto it. Just when something was starting to develop, they need to work a little bit harder. First Killer diving across, stops Wondamike's shot, and a big clear down the way. But apparently Jack still got to get there. Cleared for Gen.G.
Really steady patience defensively from Gen.G. They're trusting Chronic on a lot of the midfield challenges, even when it comes to tracking back with that first offensive player. They're not wasting a lot of boosts getting up and meeting the challenge. They're allowing some space for Incorrect to move downfield, to take a couple of angles towards the corners that they want. Quality drop down. First Killer can't make the read. That's okay. Chronic sends it towards the corner. But defensively, Gen.G looked very, very comfortable, very resilient. They're not working overtime to clear this ball. They're just taking their chances where they find it.
Well, he left the ball on the flip reset to try to get a clean touch out to a teammate. But both First Killer and Chronic were still setting up. Well, they're not really pressed about it at all. Even getting bumped, they're still getting back to the touch. They have complete control of the midfield right now. Even that one cleared out into space. And that's the first chance they got. First Killer's going at the side. Toasty, easy shot. And First Killer on the side, just slightly out of position is what helps them break through.
And the first time, really, we see Gen.G commit upfield, all 3 members up. All right, take your chance, get a decent clear from Wondamike, move it downfield, Toasty plays it off the side wall, and you just play the counterattack there. The numbers work out in your favor. It's a pretty open net for you to shoot at. You take advantage of the space you're given, and nicely done converting on the other end from Incorrect, weathering the offensive storm, and converting on the other side.
Blitz is already downfield after that win. First Killer right behind him. Reads Wondamike's pinch. Incorrect. The story continues for them this league play. They do get scored in multi-goal games. A couple teams scored a 5 spot on them yesterday, but they always responded made a close game of the next one. Even if they didn't win that game, it was always a 1-goal game. First killer up high. He doesn't have a lot of boost to adjust, and Wonder Mike was ready for it. Incorrect had to commit multiple layers.
That's a nice job by Wonder Mike. I was a little worried about Flitz and Toasty upfield. It looked like they were kind of scrambling through the rotation, getting caught, more interested in the challenge than maybe positioning defensively, but First killer didn't really have the space to work with. Shout out Wonder Mike defensively. Toasty able to poke it free. She'll work back in. Both teams more than comfortable than sending 2 players up into the goal line, looking for bumps, looking for a little bit of space where they might be able to thread a pass. Neither have been successful, but if you like what we're seeing, First killer, dead center, Wonder Mike keeps it out.
Another third man stop for Wonder Mike. Gets deleted for his effort. Toasty hoping for 12 more, but he got no more. And the pass was deflected. Wow. Wonder Mike gets there. Another save. That's 4 for him. Wonder Mike again. That one doesn't register as a shot, but no doubt prevented some heat. Headed towards his box, and Toasty, with no boost left, still can't get the ball away from Jack. Flitzes the ball's over his head. He loses his boost. First killer calls him off. 2 touches out, but Chronic was leaving to go get boost. Apparently Jack needs to go in, and no one from Incorrect can actually get back to this ball. Flitz is missing it. Wonder Mike barely has anything in the tank. Chronic is running all over him. Toasty still can't get a boost. Flitz has nothing. Big pass. Give and go. Can't put it on target, or did put it on target, but can't put it up high. Wonder Mike easy save.
Yeah, somebody needed to help Wonder Mike. That man has been working on 20 boosts on 3, 4, 5 different saves. Finally, some help does come in. The cavalry crashes. Flitz able to get some midfield grabs, but again, the defense from Incorrect working on low boost has been really impressive. A bit scrambly, but they've kept the ball out. Still down by 1 with under 20 to go. Wonder Mike working off the backboard. How far can he get this one? Right back into the hands of Chronic. Flitz looking for the clear. We'll find it. What can Incorrect do downfield?
Abjack and First Killer bumped into each other. That's why Abjack has no boost right now. He had to reposition immediately for the ball. He couldn't go for the boost, and it was on the rotation back that killed them. I'm not sure if it was on the stream cam or not on my own player cam at the moment, but no 0-second goal, and Incorrect will tie the series.
You know, a much, much better game from Incorrect, even just defensively. I think that's the big standout in game 2. Granted, Wonder Mike's really the reason why. 5 saves for a reason, 683. He's playing the boost off the backboard, or should say, excuse me, the ball off the backboard. Low boost consistently. He was taking challenges from First Killer. He was watching the corner grabs from apparently Jack, who was rotating a little bit late. He was watching Chronic kind of set up in space. Wonder Mike is the reason this is a 1-goal game for the majority of that last stretch. But again, this is a squad that just needs a little bit more help sometimes because they were getting pushed back. They were turtling. Wonder Mike's doing all he can. Flitz and Toasty are taking some challenges in that offensive third, but they're not able to get possession. They're not clearing, and they were low on boost, Storby. They were just running out of resources, and when you don't have boost, you can't clear the ball, and Gen.G are going to clamp down, and they did, but there were still positives here for Incorrect. Defensively looked really good. Just came down to really holding possession on the other side.
I think you do make a great point about third man on Incorrect, though, getting a lot of pressure, and it did result in them losing a lot of their boost when first and second man aren't getting solid challenges on the ball or just straight up missing the ball and trying to force the attacker into a singular direction. Wonder Mike was having to make too many saves. They weren't able to get any boost. Gen.G got to do what they want there. Point is, though, it held this time, but it is something to note for Gen.G in this game. If you can keep getting by Flitz and Toasty, then you can probably commit more on those demos. I know that Gen.G were trying, but you can't stop, especially if you got them starting to get starved on low boost. Incorrect held them to a low scoring game after Gen.G put on that 5 spot. Now, let's try to continue the journey. Maybe keep it low scoring. Wonder Mike has a 1v1 the other way. Chronic and Wonder Mike meet in the air. Chronic, easy tap up. Toasty trying to get in the way as well. Incorrect. Trying a couple different ways to break through that Gen.G defense.
Yeah, I like this pressure from the corner early on as well. We saw it even though it was an opening kickoff goal in game 2 for Incorrect, but kind of hitting back to what this team can do well, which is taking boost away from Gen.G when they're on defense. Need to see a little bit more of that. And unfortunately, again, winning battles, winning challenges from the elbow in that offensive third, if you're First Killer, if you're Chronic, that's where you're going to make most of your money in this matchup. First Killer just recenters under it perfectly, tracks it down, defense gives him all he needs, and they will strike first early on in game 3.
I mean, it's just another simple double commit. Flitz and Toasty go for the same ball. Either one of them sit, really. I think Flitz should have been the one sitting. Toasty was already in position, but Flitz jumps for the ball regardless. And he would have been able to respond to that First Killer shot, but the discipline breaks down, and Now you're playing from a deficit. Again, first killer on the launch. Fakes that high touch. Doesn't matter though, Wonder Mike calls him on it. And Flitz has to hold and wait for his team to get set. Maybe create something here. First killer shakes that ball out and just keeps Wonder Mike out.
I like this chase from Wonder Mike. Again, it's just allowing more space at the midfield for Flitz to kind of shadow and watch and wait for him to be an errant touch, a bad rebound. It's a bit open. Great bump as well. And you play great defensive games on the other side from Wonder Mike. You need somebody to bail you out, and then he cashes in on the opposite end, able to put it through for the tie game.
Yeah, Flitz getting that one back with the bump. Very simple. You just win that midfield battle. You talk about both teams being very willing to send first and second man, space man, and to, whether it's trying to find a bump or being an outlet for the push downfield. There's a lot of pressure but trust put on pro team's third men because it's so hard to break through defenses now. You have to commit to almost at all times when you are on the offensive end. You put a little bit more pressure on your third man to be able to hold that down. That does open them up for potential bumps if you're not careful. Happens that time. Here's a demo from first killer, but again, you're not winning that touch. Apparently Jack, without a lot of boost, has to buy time. That's as much as he can get.
Oh, poor Toasty. He thought maybe that was going to lead to maybe just a recenter, but unfortunately it gets right back to him. He gets some boost to help out, so they'll trade that. One demo from first killer, and that should be a shot. It will be. Actually just hits the post. Here comes the second. Apparently Jack will find the second goal. And again, kind of war of attrition right on the other side. It's just going to be Gen.G taking shot after shot when you're on low boost and you can't clear the ball. And you see this.
Yeah, Toasty couldn't get back to it with Wonder Mike, sees the rebound coming, doesn't check to see where apparently Jack is, but he knows he's nearby, so play the ball, and he played it right into his nose. I mean, that's an apparently Jack special right there. Yeah, he sees you right there. He knows he's got you dead. He knows that you're gonna give that ball up to him. Chronic, here he goes, got the reset, forced it up high. The layer's good for now for Incorrect. But it does feel like what we saw at the end of game 2, despite Incorrect winning that game, continues on here in game 3, Spaceman, which is Incorrect getting starved out, unable to maintain discipline, and barely able to make these saves.
The only blemish you can really put on Incorrect's record at the moment on their challenge game has just been they are very direct to the ball once they realize that Gen.G are closing in on space. So it kind of limits the different angles they can approach on challenges. It limits the ways that they can maybe start to fight on possession against first killer if he's playing from the midfield into the corner, if he's popping the ball towards the backboard. It just seems like sometimes Incorrect are kind of spearheading their way directly at the ball, maybe rather than pathing into it, trying to cut down some opportunities for Gen.G. Again, just something small. It hasn't affected them too much, but it does lead to some predictable pops where Gen.G are like, oh, this space, this angle is now open because you just took the challenge head on. Okay, bet. I'm going to now throw a shot up and we'll see what happens. First killer with a full tank and send it right back through the midfield. So looking to see what Incorrect can do in the latter half of this game.
So many demos, but Incorrect are still getting back to the ball. Just barely. Chronic drops it down. Flitz tried the early challenge. First killer just flings it from a slingshot. And I mean, easy does it. How many smoke screens do they throw up? Flitz is hoping he can drop it. But everyone else recovering. And look, Toasty and Wonder Mike running into each other. I don't know if Wonder Mike got pumped initially there by Gen.G, and it was a Bolden ball situation. I came in on that one late looking for Flitz cam, but a lot of orange cars bumping into each other, challenging the same ball in this series.
Yeah, Chronic just has so much space, man. Like, if he decides he wants to play up the ceiling or, send a small missile off the backboard, maybe recenter, give it to first killer on the ground, he can do that. There really hasn't been too much challenge game from Incorrect at the midfield, which is why, again, Chronic's now up early.
There he is.
He'll get the double tap right over the head of the lone defender, 4-1, and a bit of a victory lap here in the start of the series.
I mean, you called it. This has been happening all game, and then right after you say it, of course, he slaps the ball out from the midfield line. Easy double tap. How many clean touches have Gen.G gotten from the midfield this line? At least 20.
Yeah, it's tough to beat any team.
I don't even think I'm exaggerating there.
No, even if we go back to game 1, the first couple of shots that Gen.G were attempting, it was just, okay, we're going to pop it at the midfield. And again, the challenge game was more of a problem in game 1. That's a great reset from Wonder Mike. Able to shut things up quickly. 50 on the clock. Still doable. Going to be tough, but Wonder Mike flies out from his own side of the field. Uses the reset. Oh, that's pretty.
At pace, too. That's fine. Close to supersonic when he went for that ball. played it to the ceiling. Best way to stay with the ball and at that kind of speed, but to get the catch and the power on the reset there. Impressive. One to Mike. Is it enough for incorrect? We'll see. Toasty with the full challenge. He got all of it. How about that? Chronic diving back, but a really good setup there from incorrect. They have Gen.G start a little bit. Hard pass to Flitz. Hard shot. Oh, that's a banger.
Their spacing on the last 20 seconds has been just excellent. They look so decisive. They look like they absolutely know where each touch is going, where they want to set up. There's an urgency to this offense that has kicked in out of nowhere. One to Mike. They needed somebody to kind of step up and reignite the offense here. Finally, we get it. A lot of time on the clock to play with, and an open backline that they can take advantage of.
See what they can do. One to Mike turns. Toasty went to go get boosts. He's right back into position. Flitz on the far side. He's on small pad duty. Toasty just flings it at Chronic, and that ain't going to get it done. He can waste time. The 50, but first killer's there. Too many layers available for Gen.G. No waste the rest of the time off this clock. Incorrect. We'll need to go hero mode here at 0 seconds. Reset will bob it up just a tad. Nobody around for this one. That should be a GG. Yes, sir. Thank you. Another 5 spot for Gen.G.
You know, the last 30 seconds of this game were really indicative of the things Incorrect do well. Why they found success in the open quals, why they were able to bounce back after many reps yesterday. A situation where if they were able to employ that kind of urgency, that kind of decisive spacing early on in this series, maybe the series still goes to Gen.G, but it certainly would have been a little bit closer. This was a team that, again, still has a lot going for them. Fortunately, they'll drop here, but a lot better of a showing in the final 30, not just because they were scoring. I hope that they can continue that same cadence moving forward in this tournament. Gen.G, however, I mean, they could have won this series at least alone on Chronic spacing at the midfield. The dude was never challenged. He rarely had to take a shot he was uncomfortable with. The amount of times he instead elected to leave off and give apparently Jack or First Killer sole possession of the play was exactly why you want him on your team and why Gen.G at their base can excel so well. So this was just a good showing from Gen.G.
What had not been hard for Gen.G were just baiting Incorrect in with their first touches. They would bait them in on a high touch. They would make them go vertical. I mean, Flitz would just immediately go at everything. And Gen.G knew it. Gen.G knew if I catch this ball in the midfield, in the air, my first touch, Flitz is going to jump for it. And what's he going to think I'm going to do? Push it forward. Well, what do they do instead? Push it upwards. They're forcing Incorrect to use all of their boost. Flitz, almost every time he jumped, he was already jumping from a disadvantage. So he couldn't even get up to the challenge to force it. And then it was a snowball effect from there, right? We saw one to Mike, third man, having to pick up those pieces. And what really killed it for me, for Incorrect, and what really kills it for me, for them in this series, is are the double commits. I mean, the communication, like at a basic foundational day one level, you cannot be running into each other. Like that stuff has to be ironed out in this series, and you're simply not going to have any fun against this team if you keep messing up the basics on rotational discipline. That has to be the number one fix. Gen.G they're full comfort. Like I don't think Gen.G are trying to do anything too difficult. I think they know how easy it is to bait Incorrect in and then just punish them. Like Incorrect are starving themselves right now by trying to play too fast. They're reading themselves into a hole rather than actually watching what's happening on the pitch in front of them and reacting to how Gen.G are moving the ball. They're trying to play faster than them, but you're not, and it's not working. So Incorrect have to find a new way forward.
Yeah, you know, this is a team that, again, like for Gen.G, it feels like their floor has always been really, really solid. But it just came down to consistencies, you know, and we'll see if they can keep that at the forefront of this squad moving forward. I think I probably just had an aneurysm, and we're still keeping this series moving. I apologize for the miscue. It's currently 2-1 to Gen.G, and yeah, you know, this is just a squad that we expected a lot from Gen.G going into this tournament, so it's nice to see that they've kind of worked out, at least early on, some of maybe the offensive issues we saw Chrome talking about earlier. But to get back to what you were talking about, Jorby, about Incorrect and a lot of their double commits, like that challenge game at the midfield, the double commits, especially defensively, like that was the big Achilles heel for them in games 2 and 3. If they clean that up, you work from there. Everything else gets a little bit easier, but you can't really shoot yourself in the foot.
I mean, the offense looks pretty decent, too. That was a decent pass. Gen.G just have good coverage. When they get to the offensive half, they have the pressure. Incorrect look good. But like a lot of teams that aren't at the top, defense and defensive discipline is a big struggle for many teams. We're watching Fun go through something similar. We watched Snowmen during the RLCS season go through a very similar thing after their top 4 placement. Like, so defense becomes a lot harder the higher up you get. Offense is something that teams can definitely figure out. Staying on offense, having that defensive discipline. We're doing it right now. Toasty could not quite beat Chronic to the ball. He's been reliable in that 3rd spot and reliable hanging on to the ball here against Incorrect.
And now he just has to track back, and that's the tough part. Amazing save from Wonder Mike and keeps it out. If this kid isn't playing lights out defense in this series, again, things look a little bit more dangerous, and Gen.G probably feeling very comfortable to continue to send the house, but Wonder Mike stepping up massively on the defensive end. And just like on that last rotation, I mean, you try to fly out, win the foot race to the corner, you don't get it, then you have to backtrack all the way across the field. It's so much space for Gen.G to execute on. Now, how do you make them get punished for it? Wonder Mike says, I'm going to slot it and make sure Gen.G remember this.
Now hop into the cuddle puddle here on the blue half. We got 1 orange car, 3 blue cars. First Killer and Chronic, they're there first at the party, front row seats. Chronic gets kicked out though, and that goal's going straight into his net. Nice work. Not all day that you see 3 players sitting in the box and the ball getting through all 3 of them. That's exactly what you just witnessed here.
It's not every day you see all of Gen.G in the net and a lot of space in the midfield for an open shot from Wonder Mike. I mean, it's a complete change of form here in Game 4, but maybe a sign of things to come. You keep this confidence moving, and like the end of Game 3, where the last 30 seconds just really poised, really great urgency offensively from the offensive Incorrect, has to be the same situation into this game. So far, it looked excellent. Defense has stood strong. Pass to apparently Jack. Immediate challenge by Toasty. Here comes First Killer. We all expect it.
Jeez.
Diving save from everybody, but it doesn't up.
The whole reason Gen.G got this possession is because Flitz and Wonder Mike had double committed on the clear way before Gen.G got that ball. Then Wonder Mike was off. Toasty was like, well, I can't go forward on this because both my teammates are downfield and we don't have possession. And then they go back, and what happens? Flitz and Toasty double commit. Now here you go. That's the type of double commit I like to see. You get the demo, you put it in, Incorrect, get a good offensive drive here. They get the bump. The physical game is working. It's pulling Gen.G off their path. Doesn't matter how you look on defense if you can just keep them off on offense.
It's just really good communication. Flitz took the first challenge, Wonder Mike parked bus on the sidewall and said, all right, if this pops out of me, I'm coming right through, playing it low and looking for a bump demo. He gets it. That's the communication that Incorrect need in transition when the offense is starting to flow to capitalize on a defensive mistake from Gen.G. And it wasn't really a mistake from Gen.G. Just look, there's an opportunity here. Capitalize on it. Diving save. The demo keeps this one out. Still, though, Incorrect look way more comfortable past the midfield line than they have in the start of this series, and it's paying off.
They're connecting on the bumps finally. And it is throwing Gen.G off their rhythm a bit. First Killer tried to feather that touch. You just missed it, but he's got a great touch here. He's got everyone else jumping from behind, but they win a massive 50 into the net. Wonder Mike uses his undercarriage as a tee.
All right, First Killer juggling. And yeah, no, Wonder Mike just straight up challenged. Okay, so a little reminiscent of the prior game. Wonder Mike from his own backboard takes all the way upfield, gets the reset over First Killer in net. This time, decides to challenge at the midfield. And it's kind of amazing what happens when your challenges at midfield are a little bit more confident, a little bit more clean, what that can lead to, whether or not it's a free shot, whether or not it's a great ricochet. Just having a presence at the midfield, Jorby, is so important to slow down a top-tier offense like Gen.G. We've seen it from better teams than Incorrect, and now the Incorrect are executing. Look at the lead, 3-0 with a minute to go. This is the best they've looked all series.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great call from Wonder Mike to see First Killer threaten that touch towards the backboard and think, no, he's got that reset. You also got your 2 teammates back right, so you use that information to your advantage. You make the correct play, and look what happens. You're up 3-0, and even though you're struggling a little bit here on defense, there's not a ton of time left. Flitz expends the tank, clears it out downfield. Wonder Mike sitting underneath, Toasty in the corner. And this is looking great for Incorrect. You're still seeing a lot of the same issues out of them. Big difference, though, connecting on the physical game. It's not that Incorrect weren't going for it before. They were trying to bump Gen.G before. And they were warping them some of the time in the previous games, but not as effectively as they did in the first half of this game to get out to this lead. This was a really, really great run. Toasty holds down in the 3rd man challenge. Flitz fakes the upper challenge, gets the boost, and that should do it here for game number 4.
And this is just a lot of confidence out of Incorrect, which is nice to see. It looks like they're all aligned on the mission statement in this series right now because, again, earlier where challenges were a little bit too direct to the ball, a little bit too one-dimensional. It seemed like they were always a step behind. In this game 4, very different situation. They look like not only are their challenges cleaner defensively, but Jorby, like when it comes to just simply getting the ball out of your end, how much boost do you burn? They're holding on to their boost. They're making sure that once they're at the midfield, they can challenge if they need to, but they're not just burning to challenge the ball or to chase down a possession. They're taking their time. They're getting the ball back out. They're trusting each other to make a play upfield.
See that?
It's great.
That replay right there. Flitz and Wonder Mike double committed. But because they win the 50, Flitz goes down. Flitz rolls across the back wall. He gets a bump, and then Wonder Mike gets the score. So all the double commits that gave Gen.G 5 goals in game 3 gave them 2. Yeah, you see that? Thank you, production. Great callback here on the replay. Look, they double committed, and they got to that. Some people would call that luck, but you create your own luck in Rocket League, and I guess your double commits are right twice a day, something like that. Something clock broken.
A blind squirrel still
blind
drives
squirrel
twice a
finds
day.
the nut.
Yeah.
And I guess they can be nuts sometimes. I need Flitz to chill out a little bit, though. I don't know if they're going to win this game 5 if he keeps cutting and double committing, because he's behind every single double commit. I know I'm harping on this space, man.
No,
I'm tired of saying it. He's so good, and I need him to play better.
I can't get mad at you for harping on it when it was like it feels like it's every other play. We're not bashing Flitz at all. We're just saying, man, listen, there's been some double commits where it's a little questionable, buddy. But listen, first series of the day, we're going 5. It feels good to see it go Champions Field, and it's nice to see this series go back and forth, a game apiece every single time. Each team trading shots. Wonder Mike's been fantastic defensively. If Incorrect can shut down those double commits defensively and really keep up that pace at the midfield, really focus on not wasting boosts on errant challenges on their own side, they can take this series.
My eyes are on Chronic this game, held to 112 points in game number 4. See if he starts the scoring, but he does not. First shot just to pot one. Chronic has the midfield boost. Apparently Jack with the first look. First Killer has the corner boost. Chronic will still stay back on that third man. Wonder Mike was threatening a boost, but apparently Jack still has the ball. Chronic will go forward with him. He's ready for the ceiling touch, but can't get to it. Was unsure of the read at first and unsure of that challenge, and that approach was a bit slow, but apparently Jack has the ball and a good challenge. Incorrect took that advantage of Gen.G going back to the corner to refuel. They got a little bit of boost down to continue to hold here on defense.
The chat sentiment at the moment is Flitz double commits are the X factor. You might be right. It has certainly worked out. Well, I don't want that to be the motto, but if that's what's required, maybe they'll get a little bit more of it. Toasty throwing it just dead center, allowing Wonder Mike to get a little cheeky upfield. Here comes Flitz. Toasty is wide open. Over First Killer. Great setup in space, not pulling off the play, trusting your teammates to feed you the ball, and already Incorrect striking first.
So Chronic had to win that 50. First Killer left back. I was looking at apparently Jack Cam, but he was the whole way downfield getting boost, trusting that Chronic would win that first touch. And like a bad caster, I didn't look at Chronic's 50. So, chat, I'm sorry. I can't tell you exactly what happened on Chronic's 50-50 and why he lost it, but he did. And there was nothing First Killer could do about it. Great shot,
Jack.
casting.
Uh-oh.
Apparently Jack, what?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Where did he go?
Miss the ball. Don't backtrack into the play and then miss the ball. Make up your mind. Backboard. Flitz, we need a double commit, buddy. Things get a little scary. Now, listen, we've talked a lot about what Incorrect has done well. For Gen.G, get back to that rhythmic offense through the corners and just taking boost away. That's what they did games 1, 2, and 3. They need to continue to steal resources from Incorrect because Incorrect's challenges have been much, much cleaner as this series has progressed.
That's inconsequential midfield boost steal there. First Killer had a full tank as he went up. He gets a demo, but Chronic's touch, I mean, he had that touch, something has to be better there from Chronic. You had about a million options. You had full boost, ball coming down, no one pressuring you. Sure, they're going to come and challenge you immediately, but surely you had something better than knock it up to the back wall and wait for them to clear it. Wonder Mike gets through again on the third, and he scoops it around Chronic as well. Too heavy, though. Apparently, Jack has a full boosted Chronic downfield. First tap, looking for 2. Oh, he missed it off the bar. First Killer on the support, and there's not much of it coming. Chronic has to leave the play. Apparently, Jack holding down the back line. First Killer coming up, but Incorrect are not letting them out of the corner, and Wonder Mike has a runaway ball. Forces the 50, a rocket. Ball's right back out. Flitz takes the shot. First Killer diving back, and you kind of saw how that all melted away on Gen.G, and they're starting to feel this pressure.
Yeah, I'm interested. If Toasty, I'm sure he was thinking about the rebound, maybe coming back towards his Octane and then trying to flip it into the net. Instead, would have liked to see him rotate through the corner, grab that full boost, and then again, you're shutting down the defensive capabilities of Gen.G. But Wonder Mike might just go for the fake, place it underneath. Wonder Mike, you're insane. 2-0 with 1:52 on the clock. This kid's playing mind games, and First Killer had no idea how to respond.
Oh, First Killer, he tried to jump with pace. He was anticipating Wonder Mike flipping into that ball at pace. And you're right, Wonder Mike calls First Killer on it. First Killer jumps too far back. He has too much momentum carrying him into the net to slow down, and he just watches the ball roll in afterwards. And he actually had the speed to get Wonder Mike out of that ball, but he had a lot of respect for how fast Wonder Mike was moving and misjudged how quickly he needed to get behind the ball, and they're getting smacked in game 5. Flitz puts another one in. Yeah, double commit this, double commit that. This is just cool, easy, textbook Toasty to Flitz. No double commit needed.
Again, just good setup through the corner. Like, it's the confidence you get in space when you're connecting with your shots, when you're connecting with your teammates. The confidence goes a long way, and it did feel like there was just a mental block in games 1 and 2 for Incorrect to really start working on their challenges. Ever since then, they've held boost on the backboard. Wonder Mike's done a phenomenal job of not only playing goalkeeper, but also flying from the corner and making sure he challenges at a better angle than what his teammates are doing to get the ball through the midfield. Like, he's just done a really good job of keeping Gen.G on their back toes at all times, defensively and offensively, holding his boost until the last possible moment. This kid's really stepped up in this series. We've traded games back and forth in this one, but Incorrect in the last 3 have just been clear-cut away, the better team. And with a minute to go and a 3-goal lead, they are primed for a Game 5 victory and a very strong showing against Gen.G.
I just want to say, you know, I know that a lot of you in chat, you Gen.G fans, you're feeling pretty bad right now. And when you're saying you feel sad, but guys, this is the great part about league play being back, okay? It's not single round robin, it's double round robin. This is day 2 of 6. Gen.G have like, what, after today, they're going to have 12 more matches to play? They got plenty of time to figure it out. They'll have a whole week. They'll come back, and you know what, guys? I bet they're going to be looking just like your old Gen.G. Something tells me. I got a feel about it. You know, there's a certain thing about Gen.G. I don't know. They just tend to drop random games. I think they've actually lost to Incorrect before in RLCS, funnily enough. But hey, you write them, we read them, and Gen.G writes in a Game 5 loss. Incorrect are really the ones to throw the Sharpie all over it, man, and paint it black.
Really, 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 really strong second half series from Incorrect. It looked excellent. Again, the challenge game, the 50 game, holding their boost, using it wisely on defense was excellent from this team. A decisive, necessary win. And I saw somebody in chat say, were Spaceman and Curly the problem? No, if the sample size was like 2 weeks, maybe for LG, but they went through 6 weeks, all round 5. They were the problem. Do not put this on us. Don't you even start. But let's talk a little bit about Incorrect, because man, pretty good resolve from the opening blows of that first game, right? You're down like 5-0, 5-1. It looks scary, but they slowly work back and just into the fundamentals, man. And if you're a young team, like if you're watching this, or you're just, how do we get better as a young team playing against pros? When you're starting to get beat, go back to the fundamentals. Focus on what you're fielding on the field, no pun intended. Work on your touches at midfield. Work on your 50s. Work on holding on your boost, not just challenging because you feel like you should challenge. Get that communication to be visibly noticeable on the field. They focused on their fundamentals. They got back to just clean Rocket League, Jorby, and it paid off. The offense opened up. They felt more confident. Everything else ate off that. They just did a really good job.
Yeah, Game 5, definitely the cleanest game there for Incorrect, and they finally win one of these Game 5s. I believe 3 out of their 4 matches played so far in the Shift Summer League have gone to Game 5, and they finally get a 1 up here. So it's got to feel good if you're Incorrect. Or am I wrong? Is that 2 wins? I think that's 2 wins for them now.
That's 2 wins for them.
5 game in Game 5 specifically. I believe we're bringing Hootie Hoo back in here at the end.
Let's do it, baby.
So Hootie,
get it.
There you are. Look at that.
I'm here.
Literally like a rip through the air. That was crazy. What did you think about that? How did that go for you?
Here's what I think. I think there was some adjustments in game 2 and 3 for Incorrect. They started to bring the physical play. Y'all highlighted it in a couple of those post-match replay packages. They just began bumping. Toasty was in the net. You called it the cuddle puddle. I love that. And he was,
That was great.
he was a problem for the defense. They did that a couple times that I think in that game 3 is what it, or maybe game 4, I can't remember. But it felt like it just kind of unlocked something new for them. Maybe it gave Gen.G something more to be concerned about on the defensive side, because early in the series, it didn't feel like Incorrect was really threatening all that much. They may have generated some chances, but it wasn't quality chances. And then the last 2 or 3 games, Wonder Mike, oh my goodness. He just went absolutely crazy on both ends of the pitch. There was a specific save that I saw where Wonder Mike dove across, landed inside the net, continued to jump back across the face of the net and save again a top shelf shot. And of course, we saw him with the highlights on the offensive side. I think big credit goes to Wonder Mike and Incorrect for just remaining calm, staying strong, you know, in your mentality. It's got to be tough when you're facing a team like Gen.G. I mean, the reality is we know that Gen.G is the heavy favorite there. And so when you go down early, especially a tough game 1 loss, for them to bounce back as strong as they did and just keep that mental just stable, I think is very impressive. And Incorrect, I mean, what a deserved series.
Yeah, and look, like for every team, whether you're a professional team, whether you're a team going to the World Championship, whether you are a open qualifier squad that makes it to a tournament like this, every single team offensively has their own like skill tree of things that they can jump into that work for them. A lot of different variations and different ways they want to play the game, but that doesn't become accessible until you hit the fundamentals in your game. And it felt like we were watching a very, very baby version of Incorrect in the first 2 games. They were just so sloppy with their 50s. Again, their challenges, not to beat the dead horse, well, let's beat it one more time. Their challenges were not there. They were burning so much boost just to ball chase and not like methodically work defensively on how they wanted to set up for positioning, how did they want to work out of the goal line with saves. Once they got back to fundamentals, once they were like, oh, let's actually play like fundamentally sound Rocket League, let's not chase everything, let's work out our midfield communication, then the skill tree opened up. Then the pacing in the corner became viable. Then it's like, oh, we have so much boost, we can now challenge from the midfield and fly into the play. Wonder Mike can jump from the back wall. We can start picking up the cadence in the corner. All of a sudden, players are now working in space and not feeling they have to out-rotate themselves to get back into a counterattack when they know their teammate's going to win the 50. All of that becomes available when you hit the fundamentals. They did that. They got back to what worked, and then everything else opened up for their engine. It was really, really good from Incorrect. This was a good series.
Well, I think we are going to have an interview with Flitz. We're going to chat with him about this W over Gen.G. Maybe.
I'm excited.
There we are. Flitz, man.
Yo, what's up?
A hard-fought series, Game 5 victory. Talk to me a little bit about what that feeling is. You had a couple of Game 5s yesterday. Maybe didn't go your way. And today against one of NA's top teams, Gen.G. How did that feel to take that Game 5 victory over them?
I'll tell you, man, it feels great. Like you said, yesterday we had some really close series. We had a Game 5 OT loss against SSG right after we lost to Shopify in another Game 5. I was not trying to go into a third one and lose it again. So, I mean, winning is great because we're finally not a winless team, but doing it over Gen.G out of all teams feels really good.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I noticed, and you know, it could just be the flow of the game or whatever, but I want to ask, is this an intentional thing? It felt like after the first couple of games, you guys leaned in some physical play. I know you generated some easy goals there. Toasty got a couple bumps. I saw you squeeze one across, and then I think it was you that landed that demo, opened up some space. Is that something that's intentional? Is that something that you guys notice, or is it just the flow of the game and you guys respond with what you get?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, Gen.G is just one of those teams that kind of puts you in the situation they want to. There's a lot of times we were low boost on defense. A lot of times we weren't really able to get that space. So, I mean, I know Toasty likes to bump. I like to get in there as well. But, I mean, it really just came down to allowing my teammates to work the best that they could. And, you know, what that was is just getting the bumps and opening up space. Yeah,
now, Flitz, you and I talked on Shiftcast. If you guys haven't watched, y'all need to go check in on that. And you said that Wonder Mike was kind of just a happenstance, right? Toasty was going to be unavailable for the qualifier. You guys obviously had a great performance in the qualifier. And I think Wonder Mike's performance here was incredible as well. So talk to me a little bit about Wonder Mike, bringing him in, and how things have gone with him on this team.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Wanda Mike was technically a stand-in because Toasty was on vacation for quals. Now our actual third expert is also on vacation. So we have a bunch of crazy roster moves, basically. But Wanda's been great. I mean, he's a really good player. A lot of people kind of we talked about it on the podcast, a lot of people kind of forgot how good Wanda Mike is. But I mean, he was kind of a pretty easy choice for the pickup, in my opinion. And so far, I think it's starting to pay off. And hopefully we can continue to win with him because he's been doing great. And I think the team will continue to prosper.
Absolutely. Well, Flitz, congratulations on a big W over Gen.G. Thank you for taking some time to chat with me. And we are going to take it to a short break. We'll be back with some more action, so stay tuned.
what you did to me. Made me double take it right on my teeth. Had me burning in the 3rd degree. Made me rip off the heart on my sleeve. I don't know if I can stand another night with you near my side. I can feel us tearing apart from the way you fucked my mind. I can clean my sanity. You're my enemy. You're my enemy. You fucked my mind, I can clean my sanity. You're my enemy. I feel like my life is passing me by. 40 years and 7, that's a true crime. 180s off the top of the house in real time. Follow me into water where we will find love. Made me double take it right on my teeth. Had me burning in the 3rd degree. Made me rip off the heart on my sleeve. I don't know if I can stand another night with you near my side. I can feel us tearing apart from the way you fucked my mind. I can clean my sanity. You're my enemy. You're my enemy. You fucked my mind, I can clean my sanity. You're my enemy. I woke up and you were gone. I said I'm getting out, fuck this town, I'm gone. I'm always on the run, it didn't go to plan. If it's the wrong move, you can shoot me where I fucking stand. Another night with you near my side. It's hard to feel myself with you miles away. I've been wondering why you cannot stay. Till the sky's blue when they're always gray. Trying to sweep myself, but I can't find a way. Diva, I need you. Where did you go? I feel you. Diva, I need you. Where did you go? Where did you go? It's hard to feel myself with you miles away. I've been wondering why you cannot stay. Till my sky's blue when they're always gray. Trying to see myself, but I can't find a way. It's hard to feel myself with you miles away. I've been wondering why you cannot stay. Till my sky's blue when they're always gray. Trying to see myself, but I can't find a way. Diva, I need you. Where did you go? I feel you.
Welcome back to the Shift Summer League broadcast. Hootie Hoo here. We got Spaceman and Jorby alongside us, and we've got round one underway. A bit of an upset here on the mainstream. Spaceman, just some quick thoughts before we roll into the next match from the Gen.G Incorrect series.
Yeah, man. Very, very high positives for Incorrect. Their resolve at the end of that series was great. And the reason why they eventually took it to Champions Field and closed it out. For Gen.G, don't think they need to panic. Don't think their fans need to panic either. But it is just a string of recent performances where they have underperformed. And certainly for a team of individual prowess, for the caliber of the offense they have, has not played up to snuff. So interested to see what they do. Go back to the workshop, work with Chrome, and to keep it moving. But for them, just in the sake of this tournament, like bottom four, are kicked out. So they got to turn it around.
Sure do. They got plenty of time. And the good news is, I know a lot of us want to get to Worlds quickly, but fortunately for Gen.G, they've got a month or two to work out the kinks. Jorby, let me rattle off some of these round one results, and you tell me if any of these strike you as odd, other than our upset, of course. We've got Space Station over POAB 3-1. We've got RMC over Rebellion 3-1. We've got Dig over G2 3-2. And then OG over Fun 3-2.
One of these is not like the other. Dignitas getting a Game 5 win over G2 is certainly something that I'll have to take a look at later. But OG over Fun. OG have been playing some teams pretty closely. Fun is the one team that qualified that I was excited to watch the most. And like they started with an upset against Space Station. I thought, oh boy, here we go. It's a talk show. But unfortunately, there has not been a lot of yapping on the Fun side, just a lot of losing, but close games and a lot of season to go for them. So we'll see how they continue to go.
That's right. Well, our next match is going to be OG versus RMC. We've got Nolly, Com, J-Naps taking on Reynolds and Magic Bear alongside Cheese. Of course, we have Torment and Raw Gregory down there as the coaches. Spaceman, I know you're a fan here.
What's up, man?
What are we thinking?
Sure. Fans of interesting way to put it, for sure. I am a byproduct. I am a victim of LG. Listen, it's been a fun ride for sure.
So you're a byproduct and a victim?
That's right.
That's right.
You sit through 6 weeks of round 5 every time, even when you're trying to hit T-time.
I have.
You sit through these 6 weeks.
I cast a Fury in North America.
That's
I know
true.
what round
You did.
5
That's
like.
actually true. Yeah, you
That's
did
right.
get pretty.
That's right.
There. Listen, I mean, with this squad, I would say low floor and very high peaks. But inconsistency was the big thing for LG, now Red Magic Bear and Cheese. That was the big thing for them, is that when they can play up to the competition that they're against. You can look at the Vitality Series back in the major earlier this year. But there are times where they play squads like OG, who they've had many reps against, where they can play sloppy or they can just kind of lose their bearings. And this is a very mental heavy team. Like if Red or Cheese or Magic Bear are not feeling like they're all there for the series, or they're maybe a little bit discouraged, they can suffer the consequences of that. So I think they're going to do well here. I do have faith in the boys. I think they've had a lot of time to work through this trio, to work in the offseason for them. But it's a tough call because OG finally won a Game 5 to start this tournament for the first time, and this is a very good team. So it's not going to be an easy win at all.
Absolutely. Jorby, any thoughts? You leaning one way or the other here between OG and RMC, looking at the results of Shift Summer League thus far?
Just based on results so far, you have to favor RMC, I think. I think they had their weakest start. Their first match was against, where are they? It was POAB. And POAB early on looked decent against them. It actually wasn't the POAB match I was thinking of. It was the Dignitas match. They went down 2-1 against Dignitas. And then after game number 3, every single time I was watching RMC play for the rest of the day and looking at their last match that they won, I mean, they're running through a lot of these teams now. And I think you definitely have to think that Red Magic Cheese in league play might be a barn burner of a team. They might just go to the playoff. They might just be that league play team. OG, a lot of their games have been close. So I think that it's tough to say what OG team we're going to get. I think this matchup favors getting the best out of OG. So it's one of those games where you think you finally have OG figured out as a team, and then they go up against Red Magic Cheese, where at least I'm thinking, okay, Red Magic Cheese advantage, and then OG win. So it's one of those matchup dependent games. JNAPS, Nolly, and Calm have a lot of experience against these 3 players. So I think that it's a gimme game for me. I mean, we could see 5 games again, Spaceman.
Well, I would expect this to go 5. It should go 5.
Well, these guys have seemed like rivals throughout the season. We've seen them face off at home, at majors, and now we're going to see them face off in league play one more time. OG versus RMC. Spaceman Jorby, take it away.
Yeah, Spaceman, why don't you lead with this one? These are your boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in once more. It's always going to be Red Magic Bear and Cheese going head-to-head in the best of 5. You thought we weren't going to go in the distance? I have something special in my little gift bag for you. Why don't you climb down the chimney with me? Let's talk about it, because, oh boy, OG versus Red Magic Bear and Cheese. Good golly, Miss Molly, I got flashbacks and it feels like Vietnam. It's going to be a fun one, Jordan.
You know, I was thinking Christmas, but Vietnam too, I suppose. I'm going to do my best Corelli impression during this cast. Just, for shout out to our PS1s out there.
That's right.
I think Corelli's working on getting his polygon count above 64. We'll update you there on that shortly. But hang on, look at the Magic Man. Almost getting the bump on Calm. Just kidding. He deletes him instead.
You know, there are many teams that have tried to adopt the physical style, the demo gameplay that Reynolds so clearly invented in North America. But granted, in all seriousness, OG is maybe the other side of that coin. Calm leading the charge, especially back on V1, now on OG. Demo-heavy offense, kind of the name of the game, really, for Reynolds Magic Bear and Cheese, but they're going to get the same taste of that medicine from OG. These are 2 teams that have a lot of history against one another, both online, at LAN. I expect this to be a very physical series, Dorby. I'd be surprised if we didn't see 3, 4, 5 demos per game.
I mean, look, Spaceman, all I'm going to say is if you take your eyes to the top of the overlay, you'll see that RMC already up by 1. That's right.
That's right. We like
game
that.
Advantage. Yeah. Overlay
just to
bias.
Go 5.
Just to go 5.
That's right, baby. We're so back.
Yeah. Y'all experience true pain over there. That's for sure. But this Red Magic Cheese trio certainly have played well so far, 3-1 record. But OG, you got JNAPS, who doesn't really seem to age over there. He and Garrett are the only players that have seemed to figure that out to any kind of extent since from the Season 1 GOATs. Magic Bear, nothing really getting done right now for either team, Spaceman. It does feel like we're headed right for that gritty game that we were expecting between these 2.
Yeah, not much happening. It's a much better sign for our RMC than it is for OG, because again, RMC at times can shoot themselves in the foot defensively, but the big problem with LG earlier in this season was it was always a two-man offense and never quite fully the three-man offense. It always seemed like one player was either lagging behind or there was just not that many opportunities on the field or just in the play style for everyone to constantly contribute. There would be pockets where that happened, but I'm interested to see what RMC bring to the table now that they've had some time off, now that this team seems like right now they want to stick together. What have they been able to work out with Greg? Because this is a big testament for what they might bring to the table next season and whether or not they've been able to really develop the offense like we're starting to see. A little bit of a shot from Reynolds. It does go just a bit shallow, but still some early pressure. Now, how can they capitalize?
Man, that whole pressure opportunity started with Magic Bear in his own corner. They had all of OG back. JNaps goes up, has to use half of his boost just to wait for Magic Bear, who still hadn't left his own corner. He forces JNaps to use all of his boost. He beats JNaps on the play. They got the shot off at everything after that on the 50s, and they weren't able to collect that. And that's a goal definitely left, or at least an opportunity left on the table for Reynolds Magic Cheese. They're getting a little bit more out of their possession so far in the first 3 minutes. Just barely hopping those 50s. Com not going to find an outlet pass over to JNaps, who has to retreat and only will buy them that time as Reynolds will try again from his own corner.
This has been a lot of good pressure from RMC. I mean, Cheese was usually the second man up, at least on the first couple of swings on offense. He would rotate out to the corner, able to get a couple of boost grabs, so it certainly had forced OG to rethink maybe their midfield approach. Reynolds not going to get baited into the early challenge. But I like the pressure I'm seeing from RMC. They look much more comfortable at the midfield, and they like to set the pace in game ones. They're not always great at doing it, but when they do, it spells the tale for what's to come in this series. If they're setting this kind of pace of constantly on the ball and challenges, working through the back line, picking up demo at the midfield, how this shuts down what would have been a counterattack for OG, now turning into just win the 50. This is the RMC at their best that the LG fans were accustomed to seeing, what kind of allowed them to go on long runs in tournaments. So far, doing a nice job of really controlling pace of play here in game one.
Nice work from Com. Reynolds wisely leaves the ball go. I wasn't on Reynolds' cam, so I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I don't think I've ever seen Reynolds whiff the most basic aerial of all time, so I'm going to assume he just left it. Either way, OG stick on the ball. Com knows he's got Cheese frozen. Second man tries to assist on the back line for RMC, but they're facing a little bit of pressure, only opting for the boost pressure, and unfortunately for him, Com's got to catch that 50. JNap's already downfield. Magic Bear receives it, and RMC keep getting in the way on the big, deep, clear passes from OG. They haven't connected on many of them, if any of them so far. Final 30, RMC trying to break out, still contested in the midfield.
There are some challenges from members on RMC where I'm like, that still looks a little bit weird, still a bit unclean, but they do make it work. Com, double tap, wide open. Nobody else was around. You thought maybe for a second the challenge would happen, but no, just not going to be here this time. Com in open space, not going to miss.
You saw Noli harassing Magic Bear. Magic Bear heard the gas behind him as Noli started boosting, and that's the moment he jumped. He knew he was about to get demoed. Magic Bear probably gets to that 50, so he was waiting for Com to move just a little bit farther. He didn't have a ton of boost in the tank. Not a lot of room to adjust, but enough for Magic Bear to adjust. Great job from Noli attacking on the front, taking Magic Bear out of the play. And OG likely take game one as long as they hold on to the ball, put it onto the ground here at 0 seconds. Reynolds will take a look at it. He's got the pop. He's looking for the bump, and a good idea. He saw Noli as he left the ground, but Noli too fast.
This means nothing to me. We'll see you in 5. This was a good game one from OG. They weathered the storm offensively from RMC. RMC looked pretty good when it came to setting tone at midfield, when it came to their pace of play, especially kind of working a lot on the sidewall and not necessarily towards the ceiling, but more so wrapping through 50s, keeping it close to the ground, really focusing on leading with a bump first, then possession second. Liked what we saw from RMC. Again, execution is an entirely different conversation, something that this team has circled around many times. OG, however, they don't need many chances to really win a game, right? They need a shot or two. If they get a goal, they play great defense to keep them in it. They took 7 shots, didn't feel like it, but it was like, let RMC do what they want, find a goal, and then call it a day in game one. They did just that.
Yeah, just got that cheeky bump that Noli got. But other than that, I mean, RMC were handling a lot of the hard clears from OG. OG didn't really get a lot of, they didn't get a lot of setup in the orange half. They had a lot of transition attempts. Now, that one from Com was not really after a lengthy OG possession. They always seem to keep the score close. They always seem to have these, like, even if it's high scoring, they find ways to score goals, keep it within 1 or 2. We'll see what they can, or what RMC can do to fight back in this. If there's any team that I've seen come back from the grave a million times, it's this one.
You know, there's a lot of teams, like I look at SSG, OG as a pretty even matchup, but I would, and more so playstyle wise, but I would give the nod to SSG. But OG and RMC, very much like these are two teams that not only have the history against one another, their playstyles match up a lot. Like you said, Jorby, it could be a 1-0 game, a 1-1 game. It could be 5-5. It's still going to be like within a goal stretch. They're always going to be close. It's always been that way. OG's had the better showing in the last couple of series against RMC. They have won the majority of their series against RMC, but it still has been close. Noli's going to be a big X factor as to why OG succeeds this year, and he's been a really good catalyst for their offense against RMC, plays it through the 50, and just knows how to finish close quarters of the net.
You had a really aggressive setup there in the midfield from RMC. I don't know who second man was, but Magic Bear up on that challenge, he had lost the ball, and his second man was right underneath his wing, while I believe it was Reynolds that was downfield, still trying to recover and get into position. Just took way too long, a very risky position as Magic Bear lost the ball. But hey, you live by the 50, you die by the 50. And Cheese, get the ball downfield. He has Reynolds stealing boost. And the 50 easy for OG to clear out. JNAV's getting bumped on the midfield line. A couple of times he's just been lurking around that midfield line. But those are the passes that OG keep going for. RMC find a way to wrench those out. JNAVs might actually throw it right back into the wheel here. Magic Bear forces the 50 out. Calm doesn't get much of a touch. Look at Reynolds, no boost. He needs some support from Cheese.
Only negative I think I see so far from RMC is the same kind of gameplay they've had all year, where they're very selfless. Like, Reynolds loves to set up for a pass early on in a transition. He loves to throw the ball to Cheese or Magic Bear. He wants to get his players involved. The only negative, the only criticism we've given to LG in the past has just simply been, do you instead need to be a little more selfish? You need to keep the ball on the ground, and if by doing so, does that allow the offense to form naturally rather than trying to force through? In situations like this, controlling the pace certainly helps, as Reynolds will punch it through.
Well, that was really easy. The ball goes right over JNAP's head. That leaves Noli completely stranded, and he drives right in to Magic Bear's path. An easy pave out, and it all starts with that 50 underneath. JNAP's was expecting that ball to land completely differently. Noli was in his corner. He needed more time to get set up in the actual structure of OG's defense. So the XLG RMC find a way through, crack a hole through the OG defense.
I love what you just did there. A little vernacular king. Cheese from the midfield. Decent challenge. Off the kickoff, was able to win it through the corner as well. Worked off the ceiling. Nicely done. Magic Bear. Keeping things interesting and rewarded for his investment in the corner. Cheese will backflip away. Some space given to JNAPs, but they realize he's not going to have enough to follow up on this. So the space starts to spread out for RMC. Reynolds upfield. Really good pockets right now that RMC are working through. Tie game. Not really rushing to fight the challenge head on, taking their time, working kind of circularly through their boost. Good pathing.
OG, a couple of tries where they've looked at it, they pass to a teammate, they're seeing, all right, where have RMC positioned? Calm last time, he didn't see anything, he'd dump it away, play the midfield. Now Reynolds gets the ball, and now this time around, they're starting to lose boost, they're starting to lose the 50s. Cheese actually expends the tank there to go for it. Reynolds is left by himself on a 2v1. Calm takes his time getting that air dribble going, and it makes an easy clear for Magic Bear off of Reynolds' 50.
Plays through the smoke, forcing a lot of challenges, especially when they move into the offensive third. RMC sending one player, usually the second, usually it's either Cheese or Magic Bear, whoever's on that side of the ball, will have to move out in front of the play, look for a bump, then it forces the defensive OG to rush in onto possession. They're just doing a nice job of, again, like not only holding possession right now in the blue half, but also forcing challenges where they know as long as we keep them on the ball, we just have to win 1 or 2 50s. We hold boost, and we're probably going to find a goal here. Reynolds out in front, looking for the bump, not going to happen. Still alive and well as RMC look for the counterattack.
That was such a good form for RMC too. JNAPs didn't have any boost, easy delete, and then Noli was in the same corner that he got bumped out of last time. OG still playing on defense. Noli tried to recover and almost hit it right back into Reynolds. Or own goal. Take your pick. He got neither of them, and I'm sure he's happy for that. But Cheese wins a good touch in the midfield. Magic Bear trying to squeeze this ball away. He's successful, and while he didn't find Reynolds, he does give Cheese a way out. Noli doesn't pick the lane. And Cheese actually retains a lot of boost off that first touch, and Noli gets it perfectly, squeezes it off his nose, forces Magic Bear into the air. Reddle's sitting downfield, but he's beat by J-Naps, and OG keep jumping into the lane space, man.
Yeah, and OG doing a really good job of recognizing that just RMC can't clear that well. Like, yes, they're a little bit low. Magic Bear just going to throw it again downfield. But when RMC get kind of stuck in these weird transitory periods, they're not great at clearing the ball effectively individually. They really rely on the team play for that to be a factor. So for right now, if you're OG, this is where you try to press. This is where you really try to give someone with full boost like Noli or Calm space to be able to throw the ball downfield, work back out into the corners, and again, path through the midfield on those small paths. Make sure you get upfield and hold on to the ball. Reddles giving it right back to Magic Bear. It's not going to be too threatening. It should be handled by OG, and it will be.
Cheese was lurking forward a little bit. He almost got caught looking too long at the lead man and not J-Naps, but RMC get the ball, end of regulation. Noli's challenges have been impossible to get through if you're RMC. He's won almost every single 50. Look at this pass, the shot wide of the net. Cheese is there. Anyway, we got OT.
You know, I actually like that shot from Noli. I think if you throw it towards the net, it's easily saved, but why not try to get a little free rebound if you position well? I think that's what he was thinking. Regardless, going to golden goal opportunity. And a chance here for RMC to tie up the series really comes down to how well can they execute the physicality on the opposite end. They've had boost to make this game work. They just haven't found the bumps that they had in game one.
J-Naps so quick. Beats two from RMC to the ball. Reddles just gets back in time. Noli's got a full tank, though. Plays it slow. Magic Bear tries to take the advance. He loses. Calm does get the touch. They're going to need a little bit more work than that. They have a lot of boost to work with, OG do. Magic Bear has to feather his 10 just to push it back down and watch J-Naps push it back in. Open net, no problem. OG 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, sometimes the defense of RMC can get a bit lackadaisical here. Magic Bear, not the best touch. That's a pretty errant challenge by Cheese. I don't dislike the challenge, but you have to realize that, or at least have communication, that Reddles is not yet in a position as he's circling through the corner to properly set up sideways in front of the net to be able to challenge. So
I mean, Reddles kind of took himself out of position there a little bit, I think. He went to go protect his corner boost as Noli came in, and that's when the challenge was lost. So the timing was about as bad as it could have been for him to leave the wall.
You're absolutely right. It's just those are the situations where, again, that kind of play has happened far too often for formerly LG. So it does come down often to just them communicating. Reddles, maybe it's just him saying, hey, I'm going to go grab boost, or even she's saying, I'm going to try to take this challenge. Somebody needs to cut back. It's just that specific play has just happened far too often for RMC, where clearly they're making the right play. They're just half a step behind, and they need to communicate that they're half a step behind, or just wait to maybe go grab boost. Regardless, though, better setup from OG throughout. I mean, the J-Naps, again, kind of just sitting close right post, waiting, making sure that, like you talked about earlier, like Noli, who's been winning challenges all day, once they get a rebound they can work with, once they realize that they kind of have RMC low boost situation, they're going to start pulling onto the ball. That's where you set up. That's where you try to catch them with a quick pass. They get that. It's an easy rebound for OG to capitalize on. You know, same situation, same ideals for both teams, kind of coming up back to full form like we've seen all season. So it just feels like an RLCS series, man. It just feels normal.
Just feels like LG versus OG. So you're expecting the reverse sweep here now, right?
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen.
100%.
That's right,
That's right, Derby. We're going 5.
That's right.
You know, it's
where's
not
that bias been all series long?
We're not going 5 because of RMC. We're going 5 because it's the way it has been.
I can hear Corelli rolling in his bit rate right now.
Yeah. He's having a day.
You know, shout out Corelli's internet.
You know, if we don't go 5, you're the reason why. So like that shows that at least Corelli's the problem.
Well, look, I'm not going to expound on that any further, but Cheese gets a demo. That's a marquee RMC play, right? Oh, and they also get demoed, but that's a comm special, so nothing new here, folks. Not yet.
Yeah. All standard Rocket League. You've all seen this before. It just has a couple of different shades sometimes. Reddles, quality challenge. Cheese going to be low. He might re-challenge this. He'll at least stay close to force Common to bring it back down to the ground. Reddles should be the next one up. He's going to stay at the midfield. Here's the cut. I think that's Magic Bear. Nope, it's Cheese. Magic Bear way upfield. Very far out of the play, but still holding on to boost. Like to see that.
Noli actually lets Calm receive that, and he gets the boost. I was wondering about the call-off at first. Noli had to receive a heater, though. You know more than me, Noli. This ball by Cheese. Gets it around 1. Is it enough? He does get by J-Naps. Still has to pinch it across, and you saw Reddles had to chase the play. That's The one thing about those 1v3 50s down the sidewall is a lot of times you're not initially positioned as second man for him to win every single challenge. So even though he does get the pinch across, it's still usually catching up to him. Cheese having to play more defense. JNAP's almost getting tackled. Cheese trying to wrench this ball away from OG. Noli pops it up, gets the 50. No OG player there. Kama's last back had to wait. And here come RMC transition. Almost. Wow. Oh my God, JNAP's.
The hustle back to the net is absolutely absurd. And, I was just thinking, one of the more underrated qualities of Cheese's gameplay is his ability to chase, especially when he's like low in the tank. Cheese is very, very good at just winning touches. Low boost, challenging on the ball, upfield by himself. While it doesn't always convert to a shot or a goal, and at times you can always sit there and be like, oh, I wish RMC would crash a little bit harder. He's very good at just constantly keeping the play evolved downfield. So for OG, certainly something to think about. However, it hasn't really paid dividends. RMC, still looking for what has been their first real quality shot. There it goes. Cheese buys time and capitalizes.
Cheese gets away with the dirty touch, dude. Magic Bear fake into Cheese. It's designed. It's beautiful, but I don't know if you had the exact right recipe, but you laid it on the dinner table and your mom said, this tasted great. And you know what? That's all that matters at the end of the day. The presentation doesn't look great. The shot could have been a lot better. And certainly OG thought you were going to shoot it a lot better, Cheese. But hey, you know what they say? The bouncers are the best. There you go, right. Magic. Almost got that pincher. Reddles is back. Don't worry.
Oh, God. The flashbacks are already starting to kick in. It's a decent attempt at the midfield. Cheese will send it on its way. But for OG, I think, going into this, right, you're up 2-0 in the series. Not worried too much about the different looks that RMC will give you because you know how this team plays. You know exactly what they're going to do basically at all times on the ball. For them, it does come down to avoiding some of those demos, dishing out some pain of their own. Unfortunately for now, they're going to have to watch this one more time because this is a perfect setup from Cheese yet again.
I got to say, Com brings out the worst in Reynolds, man. I like the new Reynolds, the one that flip resets and double taps and does cool mechy things and, plays smart rotational Rocket League. I don't like mean Reynolds, who just demos the entire OG team and leaves them all completely starved out, chassis spread all over Manfield. I mean, come on, man. That's just rude. How many people are you going to demo this game?
My prom king right there, baby. That's my sweet prince. Oh.
Prom king is crazy, dude.
I will never forgive Reynolds for being an 80 boost and having to go the length of the field with 0 seconds and catching the ball in this hood and then letting it go. That will always make me upset. But I can't hate the prom king for when he's producing with demos as well. Magic Bear, quality shot. 2-0 lead, one of the healthiest ones RMC's had in this entire series. So to start the reverse sweep, not a bad way to do it.
Not a bad way to do it, but still a minute 30 on the clock. OG, only 2 shots on net. Both of those shots coming from Com. Noli been mostly shut down, but he has 3 saves. Com fakes the reset. Just tries to control the ball. Looking for another way in right now, and there just isn't. Magic Bear keeps the touch clean. He actually lost it. As I said, clean. JNAP sits in front. He's denied. There's just no bite right now for OG. Maybe here, but Com's only on 13. Goes for the pass, and it almost worked out. We went for the light challenge. It doesn't work, and here comes Magic.
You got Reynolds in the opposite wing. Magic, kind of solo effort towards the net. Cheese burned a lot of boost to get upfield. Now what does he do with 12? At least wins a challenge. Makes things interesting, but again, it won't be enough to shut down the OG transition. Noli, free net, and all day, every day. It's free.
Yeah. You saw him up in the air. You already knew nobody from RMC was available after that 50. Your teammate had gotten demoed. Third man has to dive back, and you see Cheese. No boost and a lot of problems. 38 seconds is plenty of time here for OG as they've opened up the floodgate. But can they push the water through?
I like what you said earlier, like, not a lot of bite. It feels like both teams have like long stretches, a lot of bark, but sometimes the bite just isn't there. Remember, those watching currently, OG's up 2-0 in the series. RMC. That's just by association. Struggling to get back into it for sure, but have to start the reverse sweep here in game number 3. Doing a pretty good job holding on to a 1-goal lead with under 12 to go. Will it happen? That's the question. Reddles first challenge, works off the ceiling, right back down. Actually resets to fake calm off the ball to burn extra time. I'm going to call that a tactical flip. With 1 to go, should this be a win, RMC will get it, and the series keeps moving.
Well, death taxes. look, we're going to game 4.
Yeah,
but I can already,
all right.
I can already
lock in. I'm doing this a long time.
I mean, that was such a clean 2-0 for most of that game. And I'm sitting here thinking, there's no way this is going to happen again, right? Until the final 30 seconds, OG had 2 shots on net. So they put on 4 more shots in the last 30 seconds of gameplay. I ain't going to get it done. I love that play. I just wanted Cheese's shot to be better. Am I a perfectionist? Yes. But that's okay. You know what? It goes in the net, and that's all that matters. You pick up demos, Reddles, Angry, Chomp, Chomp, Pac-Man. You got them.
I'm not going to break this down. Listen, I've done the Rogue streams. I've done the Optic. I've done the Luminosity. They all win 5. I don't know why I thought Corelli would be the problem. It's clearly me. I'm the problem. Okay, every single time it's gone 5. So Jorby, you're just along for the ride, pal. We're going to game 5 in this one as well. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you could be a part of this. You're going to see history made as once again RMC on mainstream, at least on my eyes, will be going to game 5, if not round 5, for like the 90th week. So I hope you're having fun, dude. We're gonna go Champions Field. This game doesn't matter. Happy to have you here, bud.
No, it's great to be here. I'm glad that y'all asked me to come on, and I'm glad I get to experience this. My heart got a lot of training when it came to casting, Furia and Dignitas.
Yeah, you did. You got the training of a lifetime.
Luminosity and Dignitas, they definitely had a lot in common when it came to stress. So,
that's right.
I'm definitely not unfamiliar with the game 5 energy. Although Dignitas are usually up and then throw.
Sure.
And then losing game 5. At least you guys win your game 5 most of the time.
We did at the start of the season. There was a stretch at the end of the season where it was not the case. But I think the fun thing about these two teams specifically, for OG and RMC, who have been so close since the season started, I thought this would also be a matchup we would see more and more, I guess the words we'll go with, as the season continued. Yes, we got a couple of matchups between the two, but RMC kind of bounced out from RLCS pretty early. OG, again, kind of still fighting through. But these two teams are so parallel against one another. Like, it feels like a lot of times we're watching a mirror match, and it just comes down to who executes better. As of late, it's been OG who's executed much better. But Jorby, for a lot of the mid-pack teams in NA, like, we started to see a lot of them settle into having really interesting, strong rivalries against one another. And I think this is a good example of one of them. I mean, OG, RMC, not at the moment in the running for like contending for the title, but always putting on a great show against one another and consistently playing good Rocket League whenever we see them go head to head.
Yeah, absolutely. You at least get really, really tight Rocket League, and it did get really physical. I'm curious if OG respond in a similar way in game 4. I certainly think OG would love to end this right now, but they were mostly shut down on everything that they tried to do. Magic Bear was huge in that. And then the few times they started winning the ball, Reddles came in, deleted you off the pitch, took care of business. All Cheese had to do was put the ball in the back of the net. And let me tell you, that is the easiest role on the team, okay? Everything else is so much harder. And I know some people are thinking that they're actually shooting the ball is the hardest thing to do in the game. Yeah, well, guess what? This isn't ranked, okay? This is pro play. And Cheese, sink the ball or don't. If you're Noli, J9, or Con, sink the ball. But mostly about RMC and capping off them. If that's all Cheese has to do, they're going to be in great hands. He makes a good stop. Reddles up there quickly to move that ball out to the corner.
I love that play from Com. That little change up on the goal line, that little layup, that bounce. That's the kind of stuff that, again, when you're trying to break down a defense, especially close quarters, that's what separates a lot of teams. Gets internet, immediately poked out. Magic Bear can't quite meet it. Didn't have the boost to make that shot even threatening. But, again, already out quickly on rotations. We are seeing RMC invest a lot of the midfield, as they should. Looking very clean. Cheese not going to be able to follow, but Reddles will, and plays it wide. Maybe didn't want that errant touch to go dead center net, kicked out to the corner where Cheese couldn't handle it. Instead, plays it low right post. We'll see what they can do now.
Another bump from Reddles, giving Cheese a little bit more space, and all he has to do is hold the reset. And like I said, look, Reddles will get the bump. Magic will freeze Noli, so you can get the free ball. Then he'll get bumped, and Magic will also force Com into the air. Cheese, all you gotta do is hold and put it in. There you go. Give him that Guerre. Thank you.
Ooh. Feeling a little Winsleydale myself.
Feeling a little, at least for American, exotic, if you will.
Oh, I like that. I had some sharp cheddar today. It was excellent.
Sharp cheddar is that's on like the Mount Rushmore of cheeses.
Yeah, it's clean and consistent, you know?
Actually, what is the Mount Rushmore of cheese? Do cheddar, any type of cheddar?
I put Munster up there. I really do.
Munster is a
like
a decent shout.
Provolone, mozzarella.
Provolone.
Provolone's up there, dude.
Provolone over mozzarella, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, it's up there.
Like if we had to only choose one of those, I'd choose provolone.
Oh, 100% all day.
Yeah. I think brie underrated. It might not. That might not be on the Rushmore, but
that's what I've heard from people. I haven't had it, but I've heard those who have had brie say it's very underrated.
Yeah, it's pretty great. OG aren't going to score just yet. Here comes Calm. Cheese is there. Don't worry, chat. You thought we're not watching the game, but believe me, we are. Nothing's happening.
We are. That's why we're talking about cheese, because you see what we see. We're back to playing ping pong.
This is what do you eat with brie? Lots of things.
Chad, get a charcuterie board and act like a dog. Act like
you know what? How about feta? How do you feel about feta? I love feta.
Good on salads. I wouldn't choose it on its own.
I don't know how J-Nav's missed that. Bounced off the bar and out.
It's OG versus RMC. They're gonna. Oh, okay.
Yo,
Wait a minute. Slotzarella, baby. We're back. Welcome back into the LG team stream. I'm just kidding. Look at Cheese. 1v2 downfield, baby. What are you doing? Hold that. Look at that rotation on the wheels. My goodness.
That was actually sick. Hitting it on the back wheel, too. What do you call it? Slotzarella?
Slotzarella, baby.
That's beautiful. And you know, it deserves the call out. Don't apologize. Thanks. When the man slots it like that, you got to call the cheese.
He's got one per series. You got one in it per series. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. OG, what do you got? Because right now, it's looking like we're going to game 5.
Why do you think we're so calm? Like, we know where this is going.
I do love after game 1. Like, literally the first thing you said was like, yeah, for game 1, don't care. Don't know why we played the first 4 at all.
Well, you know what we say,
best of one, look at this.
You know what we say, Jorby, all the time as casters, game 1s kind of give you a litmus test for the series. They don't often say a whole lot. And this doesn't say a whole lot either, because they're going to shoot themselves into a frenzy. It's an open net. We'll see in 5. Okay.
Why are we double committing there? Well,
why not?
I mean, I guess if it's already chalked, right? We already wrote it in. This is Gibbs level conspiracy. This is crazy.
Really is, man.
Well, less than 2 minutes to go. There's just nothing working for OG, and I'm really trying to find in the little moments, like what moments are breaking down for them. And it's like a scant good 50 every now and again. Noli isn't commanding as much authority. He isn't able to boost into the ball at a solid angle. And a lot of that's just due to RMC physicality, honestly. Like every time I see OG in position, Reddles bumps them out. And then they have, look, there's Calm. Calm's trying to get physical finally and actually pull LG off their rotation, but XLG. They've been able to work with low boost because they keep pushing OG slightly off the ball, so they're playing from behind. And a lot of times, it doesn't really matter if you have more boost. If you're farther behind, you're not going to win that 50 unless you have the perfect angle. And OG have not had the perfect angle.
You know, every team has lanes they like to work through on a given game in the RLCS. They all have their different spots. Great shot from Magic Bear. Every team has their own spots on the field, different lanes they like to orchestrate their offense. It's clear in this game that just by the way the spacing's been from LG, what they've afforded OG not only are not getting to their spots, not really working the lanes they like, but having to work everything else that's available, they don't yet feel comfortable doing that. And, you know, we've seen a couple instances where there was a double commit from, it looked like J-Naps in Calm as Noli was rotating through the midfield. He went for a pass, nobody was there. It just looks like at times, OG are just like, all right, we don't have these lanes available in this game. Let's try to make something work. But, you know, that's a different level of communication. It's tough for even the best teams to go from one set of rotations to the second set, to the third set, to the fourth. They have to think about all this stuff in real time. And clearly they're just not that comfortable going to the third and fourth set of different spots on the field. So it's really led to this, just an avalanche of shots and really open opportunities. I mean, Magic Bear from the corner should never, ever have that much space to shoot. And he had all the time in the world.
Yeah, look at OG's record so far through league play. They're 2-2, but in games they're 10-9. As we go into this game 5, they're going to be 10-10 in games played. 3 out of 4 of their series have gone 5 games. Their first series against Incorrect went 4, which is apparently that win's looking better and better over time. But they lost in 5 to G2. Then they won in 5, or they lost in 5 against Space Station, excuse me. Then they went 5 against Fun. Won that one. That one was earlier today. Now they are about to get reverse swept, or at least might get reverse swept by RMC here. So 4 out of your 5 games have gone all 5 games. This is stressful for the OG fans out there, and one that maybe they should have been able to put away, but RMC just seem to have a chokehold on them right now.
Go ahead, chat. Sing the words. You all know it. You know exactly what's happening. You've been begging for months for that song. Go ahead, sing it. Go ahead. You go ahead.
You're a plat rat, or how does it go? I forget.
Oh, that's our anthem. No. We're doing
That's
we're doing
anthem?
round 5. That's
oh,
the anthem.
Round 5?
Yeah.
Okay,
We made sure we had whole sections put out for Jorby. No, they're doing it for me. I don't have to. They got the Curse of Ra going as well. Like, it's, where we're going, folks. It's, I mean, what do you want from me? I'm not going to break this down. I don't feel like it. We're going 5. It's just, it's happening. Here it comes, baby. Well, we're going round 5. You don't hate the song. No, you don't hate the song. I refuse to believe that, Mrs. Reynolds. You do not hate the song. You know why? Because your son keeps sending us 5. Okay, we're going 5. Doing it one more time, baby. Come on, Reynolds. Come on, baby. You can't keep sending me here and not close the deal, man. Slayer, my prom king, please. Come on. Let's get it done. Jorby, take us in, man. I can't do this.
Shout out Reynolds' mom.
Shout out Mama Slater.
Absolutely wonderful person to talk to at LAN, and I think it's hilarious.
My favorite family.
Of course, she hates the song. I think that's great.
Oh yeah. We put that family through misery this season. I'm so sorry.
Oh man. Well, that shot's going into the net. Noli putting that one in, and OG will start the scoring. It really is feeling like an XLG5. Look at that demo off of Cheese. Magic Bear coming off the wall, and he's like, oh no, my teammate's demoed. Now I have to recover and hopefully defend this shot. He can't.
In game 4, Noli really tried to just feed JNaps or Calm a couple times in the midfield, and it felt like, again, like he wasn't as productive because the rest of his team wasn't as productive, and he couldn't be productive because there wasn't much to produce there. If Noli has a strong challenge game in this game 5, this team, OG has historically, when they've gone to Champions Field against formerly LG, when Noli stepped up, they've kind of handled business. So expect him to be the X factor in this game. Magic Bear waiting close of the net. Reynolds getting a little cheeky, but this is a time where Noli can really set the pace on Champions Field, and if he does, OG are going to have to feel that.
Well, he sat underneath this ball in the corner for like 10 seconds. Finally just gets the chance and has to dump it away. And now Cheese taking it back to Reynolds. Wow, that's a monster 50. Tom was ready for it. Now he gets bumped by Cheese. I think he actually messed up his launch going up to the sidewall. Some little mistakes. Cheese is chasing you down. Gotta maintain pace. Only gets a nice 50. JNaps tried to squeeze it in. RMC facing that pressure early on. Noli ain't done. Trying to reload, but the gunpowder behind him deleted. Calm has to respawn, and JNaps has to buy time here for OG.
If you're OG, you got to capitalize on this counterattack. You have to score here. Once you have pressure onto RMC, you must execute because, again, RMC love to play close to the net, 2 members up at a time. They'll usually send Reynolds on the backboard. They'll keep Magic Bear either low in the post or when he rotates out for boost, he flies in and makes a diving save. If you're OG, capitalize on that low boost opportunity, put another goal through, and make it difficult for RMC to work that counterattack down the field. So far, though, RMC have done a nice job of breaking out. That has been a big criticism of this team as the season went on. They struggled to break out of long stretches of offensive prowess from teams like OG, teams like G2 and Gen.G. But this is just a great response downfield, a long clear from Magic Bear, and a setup for a double tap that works excellently.
RMC spotted the hole. Magic Bear was sitting on the side wall. They had JNaps come forward, but they had the long pass over to the corner and the dump down to Magic Bear. Calm was on the side, had his car turned, had about half boost. He didn't see Magic Bear until it was too late, so he didn't even think that he had to jump for the ball. So Magic Bear just gets the full field, 3-point passing play goal, and nobody from OG was there to respond. Was nobody able to calm that Magic Bear was there? Did nobody on OG believe that Magic Bear was going to be able to work that ball as well as he did? One of these things is true for OG. Yeah. And, for their sake, I hope it's that they just didn't expect him rather than they didn't see him. I think I'm more willing to believe that they just didn't expect him to move that ball as effectively as he did. That touch off the ceiling as Magic Bear gets it down off the backboard, pitches it through.
Oh, man.
Can't get there. That's some rocket power.
That's my Lee Seno guy, Cheese from the sidewall. Look at this man. Set up perfectly, wins the race to the ball. fights Noli for the possession. Reynolds just watching it fly by. 2-1 for the moment, and that's how you get it, man. Listen, Magic Bear, you don't see him often. He's like a termite, and then when you realize that the house is going under, like, oh, okay, he was there the whole time. But this is the kind of transitory offense that RMC can really dial into once they feel like they have enough boost to start challenging. And it sounds really simple, but it's something this team has been working on all season, something that Greg has talked about in interviews, how they have been focusing on winning these transition periods. Finally, it starts to work out. Now, defensively, how can they keep the lead? Because whenever RMC would grab a lead, you had to guarantee that there was going to be a tie game at some point. Can they hold on to it?
You talk about him being a termite. It's a scary fact when you understand that they can fly as well. And Magic Bear, a bear termite, that sounds absolutely terrifying. Someone draw what do you think a bear termite would look like. Reynolds, not going to get much on his 50, just trying to buy time. Cheese doesn't have any boost. He can't do much. Magic Bear sitting underneath with 61. And, well, no one feeling confident to just take the challenge. Reynolds got a nice scoop. Reynolds, that's about all he gets, though. Can't get the boost steal. Calm will pick that one up. Cheese sets it down, but that's a time-buying touch. Hopefully into safety for Reynolds. See him working with very little, excuse me. Cheese with a full tank. Still has Magic Bear with half of his, but he can't get solid contact. OG have a chance here to tie things up.
Yeah, Reynolds on the back line, only one for the moment. It's going to play boost every time. Once he gets the clear, into the corner immediately. So opportunities for OG to recognize. We'll try to work around one. Noli looked for the place the chip onto Cheese. It didn't work. JNap's recentered. Reynolds gives it right back. That's a really, really tough spot to be in. I don't want to say that Reynolds could have cleared that better. I think that's just a really good setup from JNap's.
Yeah, Magic Bear, he's sitting back and he commits with Reynolds there, which really surprises me because Reynolds is in position for it. And if Magic Bear's looking at that play, he sees that OG are waiting for Reynolds' touch, but he still commits anyway. I feel like there was a way out. You're absolutely right that, that's a really tight situation as Magic Bear is rotating back in there, but that felt like it was salvageable, from RMC. A chance to hold on to that lead, but now you have to do this. Reynolds has another and cannot put it on target, but at least he gave it a chance over to Cheese. Magic Bear will buy time.
And again, like I like the idea of being selfless. Cheese has full boost. Give him a chance to recenter back into the play. Sure, dangerous as that might be, but still in that spot, I'd like to see Reynolds go for the double tap. Even if it doesn't land, just kind of take initiative on the ball, force the challenge off the backboard, and then allow Cheese and Magic Bear to use the full tank of boost they have to reposition at the midfield. It's just small stuff like that that can really change the dynamic of this offense. Under 10 to go. Have to go the length of the field. JNap's going to call his own number. Noli working underneath. Have to do it himself. Reynolds won't let it touch up the Cheese on the ceiling, misses it completely. Reynolds on the catch, gets absolutely destroyed, and into golden goal for game 5.
And think it back to that critical moment where Reynolds is on the ball, Magic Bear turns around. Or maybe Reynolds was trying to get out of Magic's way. Still thinking back to that moment. XLG RMC can't be thinking about that moment. The start of OT here. They've had some great transitions down the field. You talked about the better transition game from them. And Calm actually slips through, but can't beat Reynolds to the ball. Reynolds with 2, and he sinks it. Hey, Slater is Reynolds backwards, and they're going frontwards through game 5. Game win, match win.
Just take initiative, Slater. That's all I'm asking, my prom king, my sweet man. Finally does it, calls his own number, off the backboard double tap. We try it once, doesn't work, re-roll for initiative again. And guess what happens? It's a game 5 victory for RMC. They keep it moving through game 5. 3-2 in the series, 3-2 in the game. Please stop going game 5, Reynolds. I'm begging you on my hands and knees. Here we go, though. Here's a breakdown. And again, it was, really consistent pressure physically from Noli and Calm to start things. And I was expecting Noli to continue to be the X factor. JNap's had a lot of great assists in this game. Really nice job centering on some of those really tough angles off the RMC backboard. However, at the end, when it came to pacing downfield, stretching the passes out, up Cheese, up the Magic Bear in the corner, that's where RMC found their groove. That's where they found success. And a really, really close game 5 that felt like it could have gone either way, Jordan.
See, there was that play again on the backside on that tie. You saw Magic Bear come around, but Reynolds was already on it. So there was I just don't think there was any way Magic Bear was going to get to that ball regardless. So either way, they got it done. It doesn't matter what happened there.
Charlie, get out,
you got a win in OT. Reynolds Magic Cheese, I believe now 4-1 in league play so far.
Look at them go, man.
Look at them go.
They're doing. And this is the thing. They're playing consistent. There are still some of those old woes of this trio that exist. However, they're playing consistent and the wins are winning. They're adding up. Crelly, get out of the chat before I come to your house and permanently unplug your eyes.
Stay in there. Corelli,
Yeah,
we've
get out
learned
of
that
the
you
chat.
are not the curse. It's Spaceman.
I'm going to buy Corelli's ISP provider and then shut down access to his house forever if he doesn't get out of this chat. Because you put me through this, Corelli. I knew you were here the whole time. Listen, really solid series from RMC. Nothing to take away from OG. I think, you play this 10 times, it's probably like 5-5, 6-4. Either way, they're always going to be close. But Jorby, I mean, for a league play, right? Like, I'm not saying I went in thinking that RMC wouldn't have a good showing, but they're having one of the stronger, more consistent performances from all the teams.
They are playing quite well so far. But I want to know what's going on in the world, man. We spent forever here, and I need to know what else is going on in the league play verse here in North America.
What else is going on? We've got incorrect. Continue rolling. They take down Dignitas 3-1.
Wow.
And the upsets aren't over
Average
yet.
Dignitas loss.
We've got Space Station over G2. Not only did they win, they swept them. Strong showing for Space Station.
Wow.
We've got a Shopify Rebellion victory in Game 5 over POAB. RMC, of course, grabbing this Game 5 win over OG. And Gen.G get their potential regain over Fun 3-0. So a couple of upsets, some fun stuff, but that is kind of what we had come to expect. I do need to make a comment, though, Spaceman. When you rattled off some of the team streams that you've been with, and, it did become clear, I think you are the Game 5 curse.
Dude, that's what I was trying to say with it. It's clear now. Like, between Rogue and very much Optic in LG, I've accepted this. I should have known after Rogue this was going to be the case, but I hope that our interviews with Slater, and if it is, Hootie, please ask him to stop letting us go 5. However, Hootie, I mean, the conversation we were having, shut up, Curly. The conversation we were having here on our side of things was, for all the teams kind of playing, even though this was a really close matchup as it always is between these two squads, RMC are having a really, really consistent league play performance. How do you think that bodes for them as a trio, either moving forward or just in the league play itself? And do you think this is a team that could make a run through the top 4?
Absolutely. I would say that I'm kind of expecting this team to be, at the very least, in the playoff bracket at the end. And here's why. This team has very much invested in you see Reynolds trust the process, and they invest in one another. They invest in, being thoughtful about the game and really building a structure and building something that they can rely on as a system. I know Greg is their coach. He very much values having an aim, a system, a style. They brought in Kepert, one of the greatest minds in the game. And one of the things I talked about early on is league play is going to yield good results for those kinds of teams because you can prep, you can front load, you know who you're coming up against, you know what kind of play style you're going to be facing, and you can prepare accordingly. And I think that is precisely what we're seeing and why this RMC squad is able to produce pretty consistent results over the first couple days.
I like that a lot. I mean, it has been a talking point for Greg when we've talked to him, when we've had interviews throughout the season, of how they put so much value into prep, and it's clearly a team. I mean, RMC has been a squad that has been very vocal about the amount of effort and time they put into prep. So I absolutely agree. I think league play really does help them in that regard. But it's also like, it is still fun, even after some of this time off, even after they fix some of the mistakes and some of the old stuff still exists, that no matter what, RMC and OG are going to be going the distance. And I think that's, again, the testament to the individual talent of a lot of the players in NA. They've these middle pack squads consistently always are going blow for blow all the way down to the end. So it's just fun to see. It's nice to see this again once more before Champs comes up.
Sure is. Well, on that note, we've talked about the prep. We've got Coach Greg here with us for an interview. So let's chat with him for a moment.
Greg! What's up, Bobby?
See you.
Greg, how you doing today?
I'm good.
All right, first, your team has made a habit of round 5, game 5. They love to take it the distance. You've been with the duo of Reddles and Magic for how long now?
2 years.
Okay. And how many years of your life do you think have, sped by due to the stress?
20 plus.
Hey, we're going to be gray in here before long.
Oh, this is going to be horrible. Yep.
So I do want to talk about the league play format. I don't know if you heard what we said, but we know that you guys are a team that focuses on prep work, studying replays, studying your opponents, learning ways to get better. You brought in Kepert. I think that is an awesome thing as well. Yep. It just shows the team's willingness to buy into the mental side of the game. How do we think about things? And this league play format, do you think that that's something that benefits you guys because you know who you're going to match up against before the day starts?
It does, although this specific league, we haven't done much prep work on other teams because, I mean, maybe the Worlds teams for sure, but we really want to focus on our gameplay first.
Sure.
And we're testing a lot of new things out in these series and even in scrims right now. So it's all credit to my guys for buying into even just the wonky stuff that we do all the time.
Well, reverse sweep there. Incredible mental fortitude. I think that's just another tick in the box of paying attention and buying into the system here. But I do want to ask, is there anything that changed after game 2? It felt like the pace of play kind of opened up. Maybe you guys got a little bit more physical. It felt like Cheese found his groove in game 3. Is there anything that you guys changed from game 2 moving forward?
I mean, we knew we were getting chances in game 1 and 2, but they like to play a very, very controlled style. And if you start getting into the OG controlled style, you're just going to lose because they come through, they demo you, they start flinging at the midfield, and it's trouble. But we knew we were getting chances on offense, so one of the things that we wanted to do was just open up a lot more demo pressure. And, I mean, Cheese just started balling. MB was getting touches like crazy. And then when Reynolds opens a field up like that, then, I mean, we're usually going to score quite a few goals. So all credit to them.
Excellent stuff. Well, Greg, congratulations on the W. Thank you for taking some time to chat with me. Best of luck in your next matches. We are going to take a short break, and we'll be back with some more Shift Summer League.
Stood at the edge as we're so tight, rust in our eyes. Just feel it slipping under so quiet. Hold your breath, it's a deep dive. Stood at the edge as we're so tight, rust in our eyes. Can't stay so high. Just feel it slipping under so quiet. Hold your breath, it's a deep dive. Stood at the edge as we're so tight, rust in our eyes. Lost hope in the fire. Try to remember faces. Bullets fly, still nothing but embers, yeah. So perfect days falling from a height. Still clutching on, yeah, hands tied. Now I'm alone with the warning signs. Just feel it slipping under so quiet. Hold your breath, it's a deep dive. Stood at the edge as we're so tight, rust in our eyes. Can't stay so high. Stood at the edge as we're so tight, rust in our eyes. Can't stay so high. Just feel it slipping under so quiet. Hold your breath, it's a deep dive. Stood at the edge as we're so tight, rust in our eyes. Can't stay so high. Can't stay so high.
Thinking my friends all hate me. Can't seem to get up off the ground. Feeling myself go crazy. Starting fires all around me. But you find a way to put them out. All my hope is burning down. Reel me in when I'm shutting all my doors and locking myself in. Reel me in when I'm tripping on my words and filled with emotions. Who knew I needed a savior to be there when I'm in danger? Reel me in when I'm shutting all my doors.
Welcome back to Shift Summer League. Hootie Hoo here alongside Spaceman and Jorby. We've got one more series today. We've had some bangers, 2 Game 5s back-to-back. We're getting blessed here on the mainstream.
That's
We're going
right.
to see what's in store. We have POAB taking on Dignitas. Spaceman, give me some initial thoughts when you hear those 2 squads.
Well, I hear POAB, I hear consistency, I hear fundamentals because of Achieves and because of their new coach. I hear a team that is very, very solid on the ground, but I know that this is just eating Jorby alive because we've just spent a couple of minutes with my team, and I don't think I'm qualified at the moment to talk about this. I want to hear what Jorby's thinking when he sees this team on Dig. Because of how that last series went, I want Jorby to take this one. Go ahead, buddy. You let us know.
I can't believe they gave us Zanil, dude. I can't believe xCloud9 were like, yeah, Zanil, you can go. What? We could just have him? A little bit I've watched of this team so far. Zanil has been exactly the glue I was hoping he would be. All right, Evo's got to feel good. All right, he's got to look good, feel good, play good. That's Evo. All right, he's got to feel good. And you know who helps him feel good? Zanil, because he's consistent, because he's getting to the 50s. Sometimes he could get Mechie and go wow, but he's not usually doing that on Dignitas. At least he wasn't yesterday. And Arsenal continues to be a little underrated in a lot of people's minds. I see a lot of comments about Arsenal, and I think people need to watch more Dignitas games because Arsenal is playing. He played well yesterday, and I'm excited to watch him play some more today. He's one of those players, more long time, era of Reddles and such that have been hanging around, barely staying up there. Hootie, I see you over there looking. You got thoughts about Dig? I see you.
Well, I do. I'm just looking at these two guys' results today. POAB have unfortunately not grabbed a win. They lost 3-1 to Space Station, and they lost in game 5 to Rebellion, who, by the way, we got to give a shout. Memory is, he's holding his own. He's doing his
popping
thing.
off.
So, yeah, shout to Coach Memory. Whereas Dignitas, we've had high highs, taking down G2 in game 5, but we've had low lows. We fell to incorrect 3-1. So it's a tale of two stories here.
Yeah.
And I really, I don't know what to expect. If Dig had taken care of business there against incorrect, I think it would have been, just based on today's results, you would have had to side with Dignitas, but I'm not really sure what we're going to see here in this round 5 between these two squads.
I would expect, I think, I don't think it's a hot take. I think
Max,
Dignitas
this is going to
is
be a
the better
Mechie
team.
game.
I think Dignitas should be able to win this series. I think Jorby's absolutely right. Zanil is the glue that I think they were missing for a long time. And also, let's not forget, chat, for a lot of you who should be watching more of Arsenal streams, the dude is up to like 3 a.m. every day. He's usually,
grinder,
if not playing ranked, he's like talking about his mindset for how he plays. The way he has evolved his game individually is a lot like what Reddles has been doing on his own stream. But like I've seen Arsenal for like the past 3 months, just constantly watching, learning, scrimming, evolving his own game. He's one of the smartest players in the world. Like he just flat out is. And his game, his brain, the way it works, especially when it comes to like winning second touches close to the wall, when it comes to working in tight space, how does he manipulate his car to get an extra touch on the ball? Arsenal does not get the love he deserves. And I think that with some extra glue, some extra like solid midfield play from Zanil, Arsenal might just start to explode on this roster. And I think maybe that's what's been missing. It's just they need to give Arsenal space to be comfortable and allow him to be the superstar he's always been. And he hasn't been able to really do that in the past couple of iterations of this team. I think Arsenal's going to have a phenomenal day.
You know who else has looked good in there? Oh, sorry, Hootie. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I thought who else has looked pretty good despite a lot of their games not going their way. 5UP. 5UP has really taken another step up and has been facilitating a lot of great play for his team.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's what I was going to say is that there's some similarities between these teams. You've got Andy and Arsenal bringing that experience. They've been around for a long time, veteranship. You've got Evo. You've got 5UP and Eris alongside Zanil, kind of just newer generation players, some a little bit newer than others, but all of them very mechanically sound. I'm excited to see this play out. And fellas, I think we're ready to hit the field. We've got POAB versus Dignitas, Spaceman and Jorby. One more show. Give us a ride.
Let's get right back into it. Hop onto our ship. Raise the Jolly Roger. We've got aliens to fry. Dignitas, Arsenal, Evo, and Zanil. Evo has been on the roster, off the roster. They benched him. They unbenched him. If there was a bullpen, there'd be like 4 Evos in there. I don't know how they're pulling so many out of there, but man, he has faced some adversity being on this roster. But now they pick up Zanil. Gyro out, Zanil in. And this Dignitas team playing pretty well in league play in the first week, Spaceman. Only dropping, I believe, 2 of their games. I think it was, just 2 of their games. And now Arsenal starts the scoring. We've been talking about him. You read about him. You saw him. And now you're loving him right here. Nice 3-point play. Zanil getting the assist.
If you were to ask Evo about his, endeavors currently with Dig, I think he would just say yeah. And then he would keep it moving because he's full-blooded killer. He just said what he is. And again, another player who maybe hasn't gotten the love, the opportunities to shine like we know he can. Dignitas with a new look. Midway through, not even midway, basically at the end of this season. But again, still plenty of time for the offseason to get interesting. However, very excited to watch this iteration of the Dignitas roster, how their offense might evolve. What, other than just being like the glue, what is it about Zanil on this team when the pickup was made and was announced? What was it about that excited you? Because I remember you talking about it briefly with, us just casually in passing, but Zanil on this squad coming from Cloud9, what does he do?
He's just a strong support player. He knows exactly where to sit in on the wing. He's always there for your follow-up challenges. And, he's not the best player in the world with space to try to 1v3 you as a team, but you're not really asking Zanil to do that. And I think that's what you need on this team with Arsenal and Evo. Arsenal can play a great support, but he obviously wants to be shooting that ball. He wants to be dictating pace of play. I think Arsenal's at his best when he's at the front, exposing defenses and punching through. And then you have Evo, right? He's supposed to be your mechanical master. He's supposed to be that guy who can break through with those mechs. And I think in previous iterations of rosters, when the mental started to wane on this team, Evo would try to do too much with his mechs. But I think having a support player like Zanil means you're going to be dropping possession less often. That means that your mess ups aren't going to be as punished as they normally would. And he's going to be there to back you up when you need him to. That's the biggest benefit Zanil gives to his team. That's the biggest benefit he gave Cloud9 when he was a part of that roster. So that's really, to me, the biggest thing for Zanil.
I'm very interested to see what the creativity might look like on the offensive side of the ball for Dignitas, knowing how hard Arsenal has worked individually, certainly how comfortable he must feel now with, again, just a new squad, new energy, a bit of a honeymoon period to really see how things go. Zanil off the backboard. Zanil, second touch. That's absurd. Zanil, that's disgusting, and that's why they picked him up.
He's right in the middle of this rotation space, man. He lets it go off the backboard. He's sitting there on the back wall for Arsenal, and he puts an easy tip in right between all three POAB players. And he was in the middle of that the whole way on the follow-ups, getting set up for another pass, always being an option for a teammate. Again, that's exactly what Zanil brings to the roster. That's exactly how they score that goal.
Well, now the answer is going to have to be on Pirates. Easy little flip from Andy. Eris stabilizing, 3 touches, maybe 4. Let it gonna roll down. Oh my word, the fact that this is not in is credit to the defensive efforts of Zanil. Out to Evo, not a lot of boost, throws it right at the net. It'll just sneak under and kiss the crossbar. 3-0 to Dignitas.
What happened to Andy here? Oh, he challenged Zanil there. Uh-oh. You didn't have anyone behind you there. And, yep, that one you are definitely gonna get punished for. Eris need lots of time to get back into net. So it breaks down there. I think Andy just thought he could pop up, get that bounce. He didn't expect Zanil to immediately recover. And so, well, when your expectations don't meet reality, it results in a third goal going into your net. And what an outpouring of offense from Dignitas. They were doing this in other games as well. Even against like RMC, right? They have a 3-4 spot, 3 spot against them in 3 out of 5 of those games. You had against Fun also. There was 3 goals, 3 goals, 3 goals. Dignitas scoring like 3 or more in 3 or more of their games in each series. This is an offense that is still finding its footing, still finding its chemistry. And the fact that they're scoring as often as they are already as a unit is pretty scary if they can keep it going.
Arsenal feels like a player who, between the different ways he's evolved his game, between the ways he's put emphasis on how he improves individually, he very much feels like a player who's tried to learn how to master the art of bounce and the art of positioning your car to make the most out of any touch, especially when it comes to rebounds on the offensive side of the ball. So it's always fun watching him kind of work in space, recognize, okay, there's a defender in front, can't really do much with his possession, but I can still tilt my Fennec, maybe right, left, try to roll underneath it, try to set up my teammate for help. Evo's going to sneak it under for the 4th. This is only the first game of our final series today. All games have gone 5. We've not yet had a game that's been a bit of a blowout quite like this, as Dig opened up with a flurry of shots in a very healthy lead.
Yeah, they caught POAB out on transition there. You had Andy diving back. He didn't have any boost, nothing he could do about the back wall rebound. Eris coming back. He's just hoping he can get the squishy save. He cannot. That's a nice air dribble, but the layers are clean there for Dignitas. They are a real threat. And, you know, you talked about Arsenal, all the work he's been putting in to adapt, adjust, improve, despite being one of the longest standing players in North America still around. And the fact that he can be this kind of a push and he can have this kind of a front for an attack for Dignitas, it does make them scary, especially in the air. When you give Evo those chances, Dignitas can be a really fast attack. We've seen that out of POAB, though. POAB have had absolutely nothing on offense in game number 1. But, you know, Eris has long been talked about now in the last year or so as like the next kid in NA. And we're seeing a lot of those kids pop up in NA. But then you got the old hats coming up to put you down a peg or two. Arsenal and company are those old heads. Even Zenil, a little younger, but they've been around quite a while as well. And I mean, this game very easily Dignitas's early on, and they never really let go.
You know, it has felt like, to kind of hit once more on how Dig's evolved, it has felt like players like Slater in that convo, players specifically Arsenal in this discussion, who they're playing some of their best individual Rocket League. Like, it feels like this is the best skill, maybe the best execution they've had on the ball, knowing what they want to do, really capitalizing on their mechanics. But they've still just been hunting for maybe the more long-term success. They've been hunting for the results to really kick in to match the pace in which they've evolved their game. We all remember how dominant they were. Reynolds, Arsenal, Sipical back on SSG, kind of in their heyday. But since that roster, it has felt like these two players, when they've gone their separate ways, have really focused on honing in individually what they can do better and how they can evolve their game. And it's nice to see Arsenal as kind of the de facto captain of the squad, really putting in the effort, putting in the work to get better. And Zenil just being there to rebound in game one, being there kind of at the midfield to, again, pull up into space, recognize that he can hit the lane, throw a shot towards the net, capitalize on using his reset, his flip, to get back down on the ball, to make shots more creative when the defense is expecting one thing but getting another. Evo can sit at range and just kind of pull up with low boost. It's stuff like that where this offense feels much more palpable. And for Dignitas as of late, before this roster change, I think the one thing that was so frustrating for them, Jorby, and you can speak to this better than anybody else, is they always felt like a squad that should be scoring more than they were. It felt like a team that should be scoring 3-4 goals a game, but maybe they weren't. For the first time in a while, it feels like they feel like they have so much to work with offensively, so many different ideas. And finally, it's only one game, but it does feel like they're a little bit more just comfortable at being able to really pick apart a defense, something that hasn't felt like it's been the case for a while.
I'll be honest, that game one was the quintessential Dignitas game one, which is watch us be absolutely dominant, watch us absolutely crush everybody. Watch this game too.
All right. Well, I'm going to hope that game two is just the same, because then my point.
Watch the POAB 3 spot on the way. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Jorby, don't do this to me.
I don't know, man. I've seen Evo take some questionable 50s. I saw him there, and I'm like, you know what? 5 up, no boost. I'm still not convinced. But hey, 5 up gets below 50. We'll see if POAB can start generating ideas. Right? You got to make it to the canvas to actually put your ideas down onto it. And it was hard to find some paper for Pirates. But they do find a little bit of purchase here. There's 5 up, sets it down, back to Andy. He shades like he's going to shoot mid and then goes for the right side. I like the idea. Zenil doesn't have a lot of boost. Eris easily drills that 50 across, and Dignitas facing a bit of pressure.
Hey, don't worry, chat. Currently, Dignitas up 1-0. For Pirates on the boat, I like the way you put that. Like, this team has reinvented what the canvas means and how they look at it. Many times, it really started with the Chiefs earlier on in the season, but you know, you take 3 players under your wing, you kind of help them re-see the game from a ground level, reapproach how they path to the ball, how they focus on challenges, on possessions. Pirates on the Boat have been one of the better surprises of North America going into this tournament as well. It's been really fun to watch this team evolve, and just like all 3 players at the same time getting fundamentally better and better as each tournament happens.
They are having to face that Dignitas attack, but they might have just broke out. 5 up, stall, flicks! Oh! 5 up with the stall up into the flick. That was disgusting. Look at this. He's got Evo and lands it perfectly. Yo, 5 up. That was sick, bro.
Hold that, Dignitas. Let's get off the kickoff. That's just absurd. That's my favorite goal of the day. That's insane. Little Jorby special. Arsenal, 1v1, no boost, flicks it over. That's my man right there. He's been practicing it and finally gets to pay it off.
It's like cute. You can jump down, recover, do all you want. Guess what? Simple kickoff, flick. Name of the game. 100 kilometers per hour. That's a lot of pain. Arsenal. Well, that really kills all the fun you just had, isn't it, if you're POAB? Like, yeah, we scored. All right. Game 2 is going to be different. Oops, we lost the kickoff.
Still plenty of time. Still so much time for Pirates to, again, maybe allow 5 up to be a little psycho upfield, maybe not. Both teams capitalizing on low boost situations in 1v3s. Andy to Eris. A lot here. Off the backboard. Don't get it. Nice job by Evo.
5 up. I was going to say, I'd be surprised if 5 up had the space to work with there. Andy almost got bumped expended the tank, and 5UP wins a massive clear down the field. Arsenal has to buy time for Zanil to get back, who just got that midfield boost. All of Dignitas on the same side. Eris slams it across. Andy and 5UP work together on the left-hand side. Evo will wait for 5UP. 5UP will play that 50. It's 5UP on his looks. He's really favoring, most times, just trying to win the 50. It's one slight evolution to his game that I've noticed. Not trying to outmech, outplay on every one of his carries. Really trying to think about, how do I get this 50 into space? How do I hold? How do I make this player uncomfortable? And that's really benefited whenever POAB have needed time, or they needed some sort of X factor to break through a strong defensive hold.
Defense hasn't had to worry too much for Dignitas, especially when it came to the one-on-one challenge. You've essentially allowed Evo to get free grabs at the midfield. Again, situations like this, where the higher the pop, the more time Dignitas have to reset back defensively. Eris tracking. Gosh, dude, these kids are unreal. Zanil at the midfield. Got Arsenal ready for the pass. Interesting attempt off the backboard. Here's the demo to help just make it interesting. Evo still won the challenge, and it will not land.
Oh, Eris committed as well. 5UP had to dive, and he missed the follow-up, but it's a free ball in the midfield. 5UP tried to bump Evo. He avoids the bump, gets the touch. Arsenal gets to move downfield. Zanil waits in the midfield line, and he's got the hard touch. Wants the sidewall, doesn't get it. No pinch for POAB means midfield grab for Dignitas. Zanil up high, misses the pass from Arsenal, but he's ready for it. 5UP can't get the grab, and he gets another clear. Dignitas had some decent setups, but when it came to them follow-up touches, haven't really found that success. Arsenal will get this drop down, but Dignitas need a lot to work with here as he expends the tank.
Just look at all the space Dignitas have at the midfield after they swing out of a shot. They have all the real estate in the world to keep play moving, to constantly push the ball downfield. Credit to the boost management of this team, but Pirates starting to worry just a little bit, finally trying to hold on to possession in the orange side. Arsenal takes it right back, slows the approach, leaves it towards midfield. Zanil trying to work back to the 50-yard line. Eris instead will play off the back wall, has Andy to help. Eris still up, but just couldn't get an extra touch from Andy to really open up the shot. And Dignitas will fly back into the blue half.
Dignitas offense starting to struggle, and now they're starting to get away from those team plays. That pinch will maybe help them relax a little bit here, figure out how to break through. Zanil at least acts like he's going to do something. Evo, heavy touch. A couple heavy touches there from Evo as he's tried to hold the ball. It's going to make it more difficult to actually hold. Arsenal's had trouble actually controlling this ball. Eris is waiting for him to cough it up. Now he's out of boost, and Dignitas left with a question mark here in the corner. Evo missed his corner boost. 5UP picked it up. Dignitas do get down the field. They do pick up a couple of boosts. They do get this challenge. Zanil and Evo double committed, and now POAB have a break at the end of the game. Eris pass back to 5UP. 5UP immediately challenged by Dig. Eris can't go. He sees here come Dignitas with Zanil looking for the corner double. He gets it, but it drops to the ground. No power.
Really good tracking by Eris. You could see him kind of reposition after he popped it up. Was just waiting for that ball to touch. Had to get back defensively. Does a nice job. Pirates doing a very nice job of contending some of that challenge at the midfield. That was a really clean pinch all the way around. Doesn't convert too much, but allows Dig to set up at midfield. And now it'll be up to the Pirates defense to clear this away safely.
Oh, the catch from Zanil is so good. They still got the challenge, though. Here comes Arsenal. Goal! Dignitas. Look at this carry from Zanil. He gets off the wall. Honestly, it was the catch. We don't see the catch on the replay. That wasn't the impressive part of that play. It was the catch as he came across it, turned his car around to put his nose upwards to get the pass out. That is exactly what Zanil brings to the roster. I told you at the start, Spaceman. You asked me, what is he? He's a support player. What is he doing? He is supporting his team.
Arsenal's a playmaker, man. Allow him to be that playmaker. If you need somebody to help shot create, Zanil, like you said, can be that person. Evo assisting at the end. Pirates thought for a moment, I was like, hey, maybe they can, break out a defense, maybe make some things interesting. Unfortunately for them, the crash from Dignitas, they recognize the opportunity. And I think, again, that's something that Zanil also brings. Like we saw it back in game one. We'll show you highlights, why not? There was opportunities there where Zanil recognized the opportunity of when to push up into the goal line, when to take advantage of a shot opportunity, and again, to allow Dignitas to get a little creative. Situations like this, Jorby, where it does feel like Dignitas are recognizing, hey, we have an opportunity here to throw all of our numbers at this. We have an opportunity to set 3 men up, to crash. Let's try to take advantage. And when they do, it's not just like a lazy middle net shot. They're working off the backboard. They're trying to pick apart the defense slowly and utilize all the boosts they have. Again, a lot of it, to inside baseball if you want, but it is a noticeable change visibly from Dignitas. They look very comfortable in high pressure moments. Good to see from them. For Pirates, a lot of good in that game too. But again, we haven't seen much from this offense, Trophy. They've just been trying to get upfield.
Outscored 7-2 so far in goals, down 2-0 in the series. I know that there was some confusion on the overlay chat, but don't worry, Spaceman and I can count. We are your human overlay. It is 2-0. Game 3 about to get started here. Dignitas have the chance. I believe they did win their first game of the day. Dignitas, yes, they beat G2, and then they actually lost to Incorrect. Never mind, that's such a weird loss there. 5 up will pick up the game leading goal here at the start. Evo with the mistouch, and 5 up with a huge punish. What a double.
A little play out of Zanil's playbook. But again, back-to-back games, 5 up, taking initiative, scoring first, getting Pirates on the board. It'll look like we'll have a kickoff goal from Dignitas this time. But how will Dig respond? For Pirates, maybe you have to lean on one player. It's felt like it. Eris has been shut out of the backboard many times. Credit to Dig.
Yeah, 5-Up's been the most productive player so far, for sure. I mean, not just on the 2 goals that he scored. I mean, both of those were clips, but also in the hold game as well. Andy hasn't been able to do that much. Here's Eris again, and he's shut down immediately by Zanil. Andy gets a bump, though. 5-Up, change up, got the round, but a pop-up on the 50. He at least gets back to it, and look what it does. Buys Eris a time to get a touch. Andy diving in. He's got no boost, but it gives a free ball to 5-Up, and he's got it. No, he gets denied. I thought it was in, and Zanil had something to say about that.
Oh, Zanil, you disgusting little man. Gets a bump. Eris really helped out. Somebody has to finish this play.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't 5-Up's fault. It's going to be a transition goal for Dignitas. There was so much there for Pirates, but the defense, yet again, this little touch by Zanil, just perfectly set up.
Well, 5-Up, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I understand why you go. You're frustrated. That last ball should have went in the net. You see him up. You haven't lost your last 30, 50s. You think, I'm just going to jump at this. And you lost your brain for one play, and now the ball's in the back of your net. Such is Rocket League.
Such is Rocket League. Chat, current score, 2-0 in the series for Dignitas. Take game 1 pretty dominantly. Take game 2 by 1 goal. And that's really all there's, I mean, it's kind of all there's been. Pirates have only scored 2 goals in the last 2 games, this current one being that second. It's been 5-Up who's really stepped up. They've had their better chances here in game 3, but it has been a one-man offense. To the credit of everybody else, they've tried. Back in the box, 5-Up crashing. Evo will try to get this out just to buy time, and does enough to allow Zanil through the corner, work off the ceiling, hit the challenge. Arsenal on nothing. Dignitas defense does not wane.
Andy, that bounce ruined his play. He tried to play it aggressive and fast, and then it doesn't go up the wall. 5-Up still gets the pass to Eris. Andy again gets another try at it. It's just a pot shot. And Evo easily gets the grab. 5-Up gets tied up in the midfield, and again, no play for POAB. They missed the bump. Arsenal plays it around. Andy has to get back across. 5-Up moving with pace, throws it right over Eris's head, a laser, and Dignitas slow it down. They change up the space, and there was nowhere for POAB to attack. They have to create their own space. Andy can't find any of it, though, here in the corner.
That's tough for Pirates. I mean, you get a demo, you want to crash so bad. You really do. But they had to rotate out for boost. They give Dig a little bit too much space. And this is maybe a chance where Eris, you could say he should have cut. I don't think there's really an angle there. You needed a better challenge. You just needed a better challenge all the way around. That's just way too much space for Zanil.
I mean, even if 5-Up gets a good 50 there, Eris is getting bumped regardless because he's still in the same position. So as he turns, the head man is already downfield and he gets bumped. Maybe it's more of a question about Andy getting back into position, but I think Eris, where he was sitting, was fine. It does come down to that 5-Up challenge to start, but that was off of a transition that they had missed. And like you said, POAB on a crash, and they're putting themselves in those hurry-up situations on defense. No doubt have to be frustrated with how much you've been able to control the ball, put pressure on Dignitas, get these doubles where it looks like you're pushing through Dig, but then you push too hard and the ball's in the back of your net. And you're sat wondering why. And it's just too many aggressive challenges, too many risks taken from POAB based on the few chances that they had that were close to getting in the net. Sunk cost fallacy. You keep pushing, but you push too hard, and Well, the result flips the opposite way. Minute 30 left.
And both times where Pirates have had opportunities to crash, it's been Zenil. Defensively, he poked it over, 5-up, downfield that Arsenal could put away. And then on that last transition, it was Zenil, right? Working on the sidewall. Like, there's moments here where Pirates do like 90% of the work, and then Zenil on like under 50 boost just says, I'm just going to take it up the field or throw it to a teammate. And he's very good at recognizing when the space means he can move or when he needs to get rid of a possession. He puts the ball in the best spots possible for the Dignitas offense to get upfield and capitalize on it. And
I'm telling you, man.
it works. That's the thing. It just works.
He's an insane support player. I have no clue why Cloud9 got rid of him. 5-up. Got the challenge on the midfield line, all for Dignitas' benefit as they're holding on to this lead. It might be 3-0 on this game for them. They'd end the day 2-1. POAB, meanwhile, I think have yet to win a series today. They lost 3-1 to Space Station and then lost in a 5-game series to Shopify Rebellion. And now with less than 30 seconds to go, they are in danger of losing to Dignitas in a sweep. Andy cannot even get fortune on his side as he scored it out to the side. You know, whatever verbiage you want to use there. Point is, Andy feels like he got cheated there. And, well, Rocket League, it doesn't cheat you. It's just physics. As it's popped out to the side, less than 10 to go. Back over to Andy. POAB looking, lurking. Eris leaves it. 5-up, goal!
Crash, 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 baby. Send all the chips at the net. Andy wins it over Zenil. Eris, huge 50 onto Evo. And way to stay poised in the pocket, 5-up. Not rushing the shot. Recognizes pressure's coming from the back. Has to take his spot. Does so. 1 second to go.
What a
Everybody, hold on. Eris,
What?
okay,
What?
we're going to OT.
All right, here comes the dig special, baby. Wait, we don't lose OTs. Never mind. Right, here comes the dig special, baby. I've seen too many of these games, man.
I get it. The PTSD kicks in. I understand.
I know. I feel you. Okay, Andy, split the gap. Counts as a gutter in bowling. I do like when we make like the random comparison to other sports. Like, oh, it's like this in this sport. Like, here's a pass to first base, which makes no sense. Arsenal misses the ball. Evo drops it off to nowhere. It's going down the field.
5-up. Tried to actually flip forward. Flipped the wrong way. Arsenal likes this spot. Oh, has he step above? Bump. Again, it's really great setup. You can see the play developing. You can see the goal coming. But nice job by Pirates to escape once more. And circling it through rather uncontested. Eris trying to get up for the challenge. Won't happen. 5-up going to choose ball. Play it back towards the boost. Now he can challenge all that he wants.
And who was it? Who was it, Spaceman? It was Zenil getting that clear. Off the back wall. Dignitas back on offense. What more can you ask from the man? He is the rock. He is the truth for this team. And 5-up, well, he has been electric for POAB. They're going to need to create some sparks one more time. Andy trying to get the jumpers down onto the battery. 5-up, slips across, waiting for the connection to strike. They're going to be waiting for a little bit as the passenger car coming in, opening up. Here comes the power from Zenil, trying to shut the hood on him as Eris comes across, had the reset. And I mean, well, that was great. You need some support. There you go.
Interesting from Arsenal. He could have challenged Eris early, but he waited at midfield and forced Eris to come back down. Again, like taking away the sidewall has been huge. There goes Zenil once more into open space, just throwing it downfield. Evo ready for the catch. Evo rolls it underneath and can still play through the corner. Doesn't have a lot of boost to keep it going, but Arsenal certainly does. And Arsenal's job right now, it feels like it's just shadowing Eris. Just keeping Eris off the sidewall, keeping that upfield extension through the air denied from Pirates, and it's worked.
Gotta look out for 5-up, though. Arsenal got there. Double commit from POAB. Zenil has Evo downfield. It's a clean touch. Back to Evo. Barely denied by Eris. It's still not done. High fly into the pass. Top of the box denied once more. Do they have a transition? 5-up going solo. It doesn't have the boost to keep it going. Arsenal going to turn it right back around on him with the follow-up touch. Awkward. Uh-oh. He's got the catch. He got dunked. Backflip from Evo. Where's Dignitas on the push? Zenil wanted to go, but Andy was on top of it, and he wins a couple of 50s to break out with 5-up.
Yeah, Zenil was tangled up in the front of the net, so you need to pull out if you are Dignitas. There is no need to send extra numbers. The play was going to die as soon as Evo popped it high. He did all he could. No need to commit. Zenil holds the reset, works underneath, gives it a handoff to Evo. That is the Dignitas that they wanted with this pickup, and Zenil is the X factor.
Classic hand egg action right there. Right through the gap. and broke through the linebackers. Dignitas, OT Kings, and Zanil right in the middle of it. When you're at the bottom of the scoreboard with 553 points, you are chilling, baby. 3 assists. Evo at the top with 3 of those saves, 2 goals off of 5 shots. This Dignitas offense was on lock against POAB. POAB could do absolutely nothing despite some of the threats they had. 5-up looked so good in this series, but it wasn't enough. Like you said, Eris, it seemed like they had a target on his back.
Yeah.
He was shut down every time. Zanil was on top of him every time. Arsenal on top of him every time. And Andy, every time we saw him get control, it felt like he didn't have any boost to do anything with it. They absolutely clobbered him.
Yeah, Arsenal did a really, really great job, even recognizing like if the offense isn't going to necessarily flow through him in this game 3, because if Zanil's the hot hand assisting, feed him the ball, this was very much the Arsenal's going to take Eris out of the game by passive force, and it worked excellently. Pirates, like you said, didn't really have a whole lot, and that is really just credit to how Dig have played this series. The first sweep of the day comes at the last series of the day. Dignitas looked so strong in this, and yet again, I know we talked about like game 1, this is their first, it's the game 1's a Dig, but there's something about this team that just looks so comfortable, and it feels like Arsenal and Evo can play the style of Rocket League up close that they want to play when you have a player like Zanil who defensively in tough situations or defensively when clearing simply knows where to put the ball. He knows either I'm going to throw it downfield to somebody who's ready, or I'm going to take it by myself and create a play, and then we'll set everybody else up downfield. That is just, it just feels like something's changed intrinsically with this squad. It looks really good. Pirates will have plenty of opportunities to bounce back. But Jorby, I mean, that was just, sometimes series are just one team doing everything, and that was essentially Dignitas dictating everything.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the team just has your number, and Dignitas with low stress is a scary team for sure. But Booty, tell me, how did you feel about that match? And what are the other matches that that went on here in the 3rd round of today?
That was a fun one. I think you guys nailed it. It's it really does just seem like this team comp fits organically. You know, a lot of times it takes a little bit of work where players will have to learn how to mesh with one another. Maybe they came from a role where it will be conflicting with their new current team comp. But this just feels like everybody gets to do what they like to do, and it works really well with one another. So Dig rocking and rolling there. Like you said, our first sweep of the day. Looking around what's going on for the rest of the series in round 6, or our 3rd round of the day. We got Gen.G, who closed things out strong, 3-1 over OG. We had a game 5 exciting match between Rebellion and Space Station. Space Station comes out on top there. G2 and RMC are still at it. They are in game 5. And then Incorrect took down Fun in game 5 as well. So some fun series there. Obviously, we had our sweep here, but everywhere else was pretty tight across the board.
That's a good sign for Gen.G. I mean, you know, good for them to win a series. That's huge. I didn't mean that meanly,
also,
by the way. I just
RMC
feel like
another game 5. Wait, who have had the most game 5 so far? OG have had...
I think OG have gone to game 5 every series.
OG have only had one series that I see that they haven't gone 5 games. No, Gen.G was 3-1, and then their very first series, Incorrect, was 3-1. So, yeah, 4 out of their 6 matches have gone 5 games. RMC is... Let's see. Okay, there's 1 game 5. There's actually only 2 game 5s. 3 game 5s, because if we're including the current one that they're playing against G2. So yeah,
look at the boys.
There you go. Look at the
boys in 5.
Crazy.
Look at them go.
So we got an update in the chat as well. It says game 5 is 1-1 right now between those two. So RMC
tight.
holding holding on tight there.
Well, I mean, they go 5 again. That's what they do. But legitimately, like, my point was Gen.G taking it over OG. OG is not an easy squad to beat. They are a team that likes to pull the game down to a crawl and play on the ground. They can beat you physically. They can beat you with like really short passes. They can beat you with just letting JNaps play rebounds off the backboard if he wants to. That is a tough team to beat. So good for Gen.G for really bouncing back after that back and forth series earlier today against Incorrect. Nice to see them find some success.
Incorrect went 3-0 today. They were 0-3 yesterday, 3-0 today. They're 14-14 in games. Yeah, and by the way, I know Flitz said that Wonder Mike is not starting on this roster, But Wonder Mike needs to be starting on this. If he's gonna be looking like that, Flitz, come on, man. If you're on the Wonder Mike is how has everyone forgotten about this guy train? How can you take him off the roster after this? I mean, seriously, what a performance from him today. He's definitely one of my standouts.
Absolutely, and strong victories as well. I mean, we saw them take down Gen.G here. Yeah. They're round 2. They take down a strong Dig. We just saw Dig performing well here. So, and then of course Fun, who is definitely playing, maybe a bit inconsistent, but they've certainly got a high ceiling as well. So it's a strong victory from Incorrect. Good bounce back after their first day. We are going to have an interview with Arsenal in here in just a few moments. Before he joins us, though, do you guys have any big surprises from today?
I mean, the biggest surprise has to be, at least for the games that we had on stream, I think has to be the 3-0 here. I did not expect Ignitas to wreck them as hard as they did, but maybe the Gen.G series at the start of the day, Spaceman.
Yeah, I think like series wise, the 3-0 was like maybe the most surprising just because all the matches have been close today. And, Jorby knows Dig in and out. And, sometimes you never know what you're going to get with the squad especially once they start forming. But very happy to see them just find success for all these players. But really Incorrect, man. Against Gen.G, against a squad.
No one saw that.
You go game for game as well. Like it wasn't like Gen.G kind of fell off after game 2 and then it was back and forth all the way through. Incorrect made adjustments, and there were things that were just glaringly obvious that Incorrect didn't have going for them. They were making mistakes. They looked out of it, but they worked through that. They got back to the fundamentals like we talked about. They go 5, and they handle business against a really, 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 really good team. Arguably the second best in NA right now. You could make the argument for SSG, but I don't think many would disagree that Gen.G have given like G2 the best run for their money this season. And Gen.G's had their woes, sure, but Incorrect coming out strong after an 0-3 start yesterday and rallying that win into 2 consecutive wins after. I mean, that team just had a day, and I'm very happy for them.
Absolutely. But as Jorby said, they are in a predicament now. They got 4 players who have all played well in their own right. We'll see who takes the field
good thing to have.
next week. Gentlemen, we have Arsenal here in just a few moments.
RC
baby. We got any RC babies in the chat?
Oh yeah.
Can we get some RC babies in the chat, please?
Can we get the RC Chads? I know you guys got that RC Chad
RC
emote in
Chads,
there. Spam
okay.
that,
please.
The RC Chad goes hard, dude.
There we go.
There we are.
Look at that. All right, perfect.
All right, well, hey, RC Baby is here to join us. Let's have a quick chat with Arsenal. Oh, stretch it out. Easy work today. Light work.
What up? What up?
How are we doing today?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thank you. Okay, I got a few questions for you. You are one of the few players that has experienced league play in the past. What are you feeling now, getting to experience it again? Is it a fond memory? Are you enjoying it? What do you think about it after a few years of open circuit?
To be honest, when it comes to the new format, like the open circuit, I'll honestly say that like sometimes it's too much Rocket League. Like playing that much Rocket League back to back and no off days, like every single weekend. Like, and first of all, you don't even know who you're playing, so it's just like constant, just playing and playing and playing. I can't say that does like get tiring, like fatigue, to be honest. And with league play, it's like, all right, you prep and you know who you're gonna play, and you can prepare and you can grind, and it's like everything leads up to that moment. So for me, the matchups like mean more. It's like it's not like in Swiss kind of, you lose a matchup and you play like a random team next round and then next round and next round. It's like, but league play is like, it's lit. I like it. Damn.
I get that. I mean, from a fan perspective, it's a bit different than players, obviously, but I totally know what you mean, where you kind of build up to it. You know who you're going to see play. You know that these matchups are going to happen. Maybe there's a rivalry between a couple squads. I'm sure we all remember the G2 NRG rivalry back in the day. So I totally understand that. Well, let me ask you this, because you are a player that's been a part of this Dig squad for this entire season, and you guys have had a rotating roster now. Right now, you have Evo and Zanil alongside you, and you've got this league play, which is some consistent matches over a month period. What did you guys approach to this league play as far as your team composition?
I mean, to be honest, man, like the main thing we focused on is just try our best and keep the mental level-headed. I think that's the biggest thing at this level. And Zanil, he's a lockdown defender. Like that man, you gotta bump him, you gotta do something, he don't get scored on. So I think adding him combined with me and Evo, we get to just do whatever, and he'll hold the back line, and then I'll make a couple of saves. And I feel like it's a lot more balance between all of us.
Sure. Yeah, we were actually kind of saying the same thing. We said it feels like you guys just kind of fit organically. Nobody's having to make any sacrifices. It looks like you're all very comfortable with the style that you play with one another. Well, I've got the most important question here, Arsenal.
Yes.
A game to 11, basketball, you versus Asfura. What's the scoreline?
Realistically, okay, so are we talking about like if I'm playing consistently or if I'm just like if I pick up a basketball right now and I play him like right now? Like
Cold, full cold.
Full cold 11-0. The hell? Easy, bro.
We're gonna say this is happening at Worlds. And you know it's happening at Worlds. He knows it's happening at Worlds. You guys have time to prepare. What's the scoreline gonna be?
Oh, if I'm actually like playing every single day, like bro, like can we give him negative points? Like ankle breaker is a
He's
negative.
not getting the bucket.
Yeah, nah. Honestly, if I'm playing every single day, bro, I'm in the gym, like I'm locked in, I'm doing cardio, I'm watching Steph Curry highlights and Kyrie Irving highlights. Yeah, it might be like 11 to like -11, bro. Like he fall in every single play. Step back, hezzy, hey, come on.
What would you identify yourself as a player? Are you a slasher? Are you a sharpshooter? You got the handles. You're cooking them. What do you take pride in?
Okay. Realistically, it depends on my fit and my attire because a lot of the time when I play basketball, I don't have like my sports goggles on. Like so I don't really want to. Every time I drive, I break my glasses. It's like a consistent thing. So if I got my sports goggles, I'm doing everything. I'm step back, 360 hook shot, Kareem from the free throw, bro. Everything, bro. Like I'm dunking in my dreams. I'm step back, Kyrie Irving, cross the mat, tomahawk, shooting it in the net, bro. I'm Steph Curry. I'm just everyone, bro. I'm LeBron
the bag is deep. The bag is deep.
Bag is unlimited.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I've heard some whispers about some basketball being organized for Worlds. I'm hoping we get to see it. I want to see Asfura versus Arsenal because I want to see a man score -11.
I bet.
Hey, Arsenal, thank you for taking some time to chat with us. Congrats on your victory here in the best of 5 and best of luck moving forward. Let's bring in Spaceman and Jorby.
Thank you.
Okay.
I love Arsenal, man.
Y'all heard it. He's got the bag is deep. He's dunking threes, step back. He's got it all.
If there's something I believe is Asfura getting negative points, I could actually see that happening. So that would be crazy. I need to see that. Hootie, I need to see you.
Yeah.
I need to see you 1v1 Arsenal. That's what I need to see, man.
Absolutely.
I've seen your skills, man. I want to see what you can do.
Hey, look, I'm going to say this. I don't care who wants the smoke from the Rocket League community. I will cook whoever it is. And here's the problem. They're not going to be able to handle it because I'm an old man. I got gray hairs right here. I'm 31 years old. And when I cook these young men, they're going to be upset. They're going to be devastated.
Hootie, here's the thing. I believe in you, so I just want to get that out of the way first.
Yeah.
But the collective disrespect from the Rocket League community when it came to ranking Subi properly at basketball, Subi is the best baller I have seen in the Rocket League community. So I'm just saying, like, you take him on your team. If we get a first round pick, you better pick up Subi because I don't think people realize that Subi is a hooper. Subi plays ball. He has one of the most iconic photos from like the 90s. Subi is the GOAT. So
the dunk.
I'm just saying. Yeah,
I've seen it.
He's the GOAT.
I know. I've heard that from some others as well. Even some sources that you would expect to kind of be maybe like a little bit hater on him. They're giving Subi respect. So I fully believe it. I mean,
but look, I believe in you. I believe in you.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. There's evidence out there. There's video at the Germany World Championship. There were some young men that got crossed up,
put them in their
got
place.
Sliced up, got a shot on their head.
Thank you for doing the 31 crowd right, Hootie. I appreciate
that's right.
man.
You know, we're in the top 10 oldest folks in the community over here on that Wikipedia page.
That's right. The list is short of the things we have over these kids, but we got that right there.
That's right. Well, gentlemen, that is our last series of the day. We've had some upsets. We've had some awesome game 5s. We've had a great time this first week of Shift Summer League.
Yeah, man.
Spaceman, talk to me about how you're feeling after our first couple of broadcasts.
Wonderful couple of days of shows. Very, very fun to watch both Europe and North America go head to head. I'm a massive fan of league play and double round robin or double elim. So like this is just home for me. I've seen this many years and I know Rocket League's still like getting used to it, but I love it. It's fun. I like knowing what matches we're going to get. And the games have not disappointed. Been very fun.
And we're not really getting used to it. We've been here before. If anything,
we got to get used to it again. All the new kids
familiar air.
All right.
It's familiar air.
All the new kids
breathing over here. You know, you're right. A lot of the new kids are post RLCSX.
The new ones.
They don't know how bad it used to be. But Shift are doing it in a really cool way. You know, we never had double round robin in the RLCS. And I think it's cool the way that we're doing matches and all the teams getting to play and not teams having off days and stuff. So everybody gets work every day of the league. It's really cool what Shift is putting on. And I appreciate you guys upgrading your system, but much like we do in the industry, we love going back. So I hope that you get your PS1 back and we go retro again.
No, Jorby,
really
I like
fun.
you here. I would prefer this.
It's been great. I've been great, and I've been great. I've been having a great time.
You have been great. That's right.
You've been wonderful.
No,
You've been very
you know what? Yeah, that's right. I'm not taking it back.
Well, hey, listen here. Before we get out of here, I want to cover the standings at the moment. I think, let me see. We've played 6 matches. It looks like maybe the G2 RMC series is still unfolding, but currently we have Space Station at the top, 5-1 with
There's
a
no
+7
way.
game
RMC
diff.
G2 still going?
I think so. Let me.
That overtime has to be. That has to be like a 6-minute overtime. That was
Yeah,
1-1
we have an
when we
update.
started this test segment.
G2 won. Okay.
Okay.
So
okay.
G2 will pop up a little bit in the standings. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page, and so it may just not have been updated yet. Actually, whoa, we got it. Shout out to the Shift crew in the Discord, making sure we are on top of it. Okay, we do have Space Station at the top, currently +7. We have Dignitas in the number 2 spot, +5. G2 Stride in the number 3 spot with a +3. We have RMC. Actually, well, they're tied in game differential, but they are in the 4 spot, obviously, because they just lost that head-to-head. They are also +3. We have Gen.G surging back into the top 6. They are +1. And then Incorrect on the back of their awesome day are straight up 0. So that's our top 6 right now. If we froze right here and went straight to playoff bracket, that would be our teams competing. But we got plenty more action coming your way over the next few weeks. Closing thoughts, Jorby.
Watch out for these teams that are playing like this is their RLCS. Fun did not have a good day today. They went 0-3, but I have no doubt that they're going to continue to get better. There's no way POAB are going to be sitting at number 10 by the end of next week. I don't believe that. There's too much talent on that team. Incorrect going from 10 to 5 today, or 10 to 6 today, excuse me, is crazy. So a lot of flipping around in the first week, and we still got so many more games. Every team still has 12 more games to play. So it's been a really fun start to the league. This has been so fun to watch.
Yeah, man, I'm a big fan of the matches we've had today. I'm a very simple caveman brain sometimes, and I've just really enjoyed the matches we got today. Huge fan of Incorrect currently on their run. Weird to see a day where G2 loses 2 games in a row. That don't often see that, but it's only week 1. And again, the chaos is going to continue. So
we're chilling.
Yeah, that's right. We knock out 4 teams. That's what matters. But right now we're chilling. It's only week 1. This was a really smooth entry to this tournament. Very, very happy. And I'm glad Jorby was here today. I'm so tired of it.
Shout out to Jorby coming in clutch, covering for the evil ISP over there, sabotaging poor Corelli.
I didn't say that.
As if yesterday wasn't enough. My man was on the Nintendo DS camera. Got him some slack.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, that's it. Like they said, we've got more action coming your way. This is Tuesday and Wednesday next week. Make sure you drop a follow on the Shift RLE Twitch channel. You're going to want to be tuned in, watching the action. We appreciate everyone stopping by, watching the matches. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the week, and we'll catch you next time.
Coming home at 4 a.m., staring at the holes in the ceiling. Feels a little smaller now as I'm trying harder to breathe in. Lying in the sheets, caught up in between dreaming and a nightmare. Ghost in the machine, you're haunting my sleep, a familiar stranger. Loving can be so hard sometimes. Give me a feel in the silence. I need you as my alibi. Nothing I change will make me right. Trying, but there's nowhere to hide. So I need you as my alibi. Don't wake me up tonight.